Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, here we are, the ultimate Cleveland sports show.
Yeah.
You would have loved to be here for the pre-show.
We fired up today.
We ready to go.
Last 20
we
minutes,
fired up today.
We've talked relationship advice. We've talked financial advice. I mean,
We talked. Bull was counseling us.
try it.
Bull's the counselor.
I don't know. Nobody wants to. I don't know. We can get into
I got to cut you off real quick. G. Bush, I see you messing with that earpiece. I have never wanted to fight you more than I do right now.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
fair.
right.
That's
It's fair.
fair.
Yes, it's fair.
fair.
It's fair. I did. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yesterday, Jason went 5 minutes into the show and then he put his mic on.
I mean, it's a mess. And we were all. Everybody was here on way early today.
Yeah.
I think I was the last one in at 10:30.
People don't think me and G actually have beef. The earpiece he has a generic earpiece.
Yeah.
I gave him 4 weeks ago a molded earpiece kit.
Yep.
Bull, you're now wearing a molded earpiece
Love
kit
it.
that you returned. We got sent back
Tyvis
to
has
us.
one?
So
It's
is Tyvis,
it's
so
back
is Jason,
there.
so is Jay. And G keeps like, yo, my earpiece sucks. And I'm like, G, I gave you this a
I
month
think
ago.
they cut it up for a
to
reason.
send to me.
I think y'all sabotaged me.
It is a big difference maker doing it.
I still ain't got it.
I haven't had a problem.
Steve's supposed to be doing so. Steve don't like me, so he gon'.
Steve likes you. Speaking
Steve
of
gonna wait
Steve,
till the show almost over with. Then he gonna say, "Oh, by the way, I got the thing for."
you don't have the new earpiece?
Oh, it's back there, but Steve ain't got some cord for it or something like that. Steve don't care about it.
What?
Steve,
Okay.
Told
Tyvis
me
didn't
2
check the
days
box.
ago that he was gonna do it, and I still am using the generic earpiece.
Man, a lot of people telling you stuff lately that they're not doing.
Telling you,
I'm blowing it.
They
All right,
playing me like a fiddle.
But speaking of Steve, how about this? Steve, his mom, it's her birthday,
Yes.
and she's 101 years old. There's
Wow.
Hey.
Steve, what's your mom's first name?
Dorothy.
Dorothy is 101.
That's my mom's
And
name.
apparently still sharp as a tack.
And what are y'all doing for her birthday, Steve?
Steve, what are you guys doing for her birthday?
Well, we're going to lunch with my family.
Steve's family's here, and then they're going to lunch with their mother for her 101st
That's Steve's
birthday.
brother, his niece, his great
Great-nephew.
nephew? Yeah, great nephew. Yeah, that's right.
We got the whole tribe in here, man.
Yeah. And so that you're going for lunch without her. Maybe that's the present she wanted. She didn't want you guys there. I don't know. But and at 101, good for her.
Yeah.
Wow, 101. We should all be so lucky to live to 101. I don't know. Maybe some of us don't want to live to 101. Who knows?
Yeah, listen. Yeah, we done did too many bad things. We was
You
55.
never see fat 101-year-olds.
Nah, like not.
What is wrong with y'all two?
You gotta 70.
You gotta.
72
It's never too late to work out.
That's true. That's true. I took my semi-glutide today. You taking that, right?
You got it back again?
The semi-glutide, yeah.
When did you
I
got
went to Affinity this morning.
see, you had to go there. See?
Yeah.
I see.
You can't get the regular one.
It ain't on the black
Speaking of
market.
working out, McNuggets, are
Yeah.
you sore? Because I'm still sore.
How did that
yeah.
work out for y'all?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
You should have seen
You'll
McNuggets
see
and
the video
Tyvis wearing their
tomorrow.
outfits. It was hilarious.
Hey,
Video coming out tomorrow.
listen,
McNuggets
hold on.
looked kind of like.
Let me give them a teaser. Hold
yeah,
on. Let me
go ahead.
put the camera on me, Steve. I'm gonna let you know something. All right. Y'all know me. You know that I'm a talk till I die. Okay.
That's
and,
true.
You know, in this workout that we did, it was very interesting, and I really believe that they put extra stuff on my workout. I got to talk to Innocent about this.
Extra
because-
season salt?
Yeah, because they like turned the volume up because I was talking crazy to him.
Yeah, he was telling the trainer.
No, you?
He was telling the
Who
trainer,
could've
this
seen
is
that
nothing.
coming?
No,
This is too easy.
That's not what I
Turn it
told
up,
him.
turn it up.
What I said is weak. Your stuff is weak. That's what I told him. And he kept turning it up.
Damn.
And guess what happened? It was still weak. Now what?
Mike
Now
said
I'm
he got a
paying
great
for it
workout.
today.
You paying for it?
I'm paying for it today.
By the way, Mike looked like. Does anybody remember that on Saturday Night Live there was a character who was like he was a human being, but he was he ate like an animal. Like he'd take the apple and he'd eat it. Like I can't remember the name of that actor. I can't remember the name of the character. He also was with the two brothers that would going to the disco. I don't know. It was a guy, and he was basically like a monkey, even though he was a human being.
You say a Mike looked like that?
The guy looked in that outfit. It reminded me of the guy who he was an animal. I'm sure we got people that know what I'm talking about from Saturday Night Live. This is like 10, 15 years ago. Chris something or other is the name of the
Chris
actor.
Kattan?
No, not Chris Farley. Chris Kattan. Right.
According to Steve.
I felt
Yeah,
like
Steve knows what I'm
Mr.
talking about there.
Fantastic with that zip.
It was not a compliment, Dave, Mike. Sorry.
Thanks.
But,
Thanks.
no, but anyway, you guys got your good workout in, and there we go.
Oh yeah, Jay and Jason don't even do it. I'm gonna tell you right now, all due respect, y'all ain't gonna make it.
No?
No, they would die.
See, now I'm thinking of something else. Now those outfits are reminding me of the movie.
The Incredibles.
No, I can't remember anything right now.
Fantastic
My
Four.
brain is just fried. The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they wore. Who saw The Running Man? Did you see The Running Man? Arnold Schwarzenegger. They wore those outfits. That was what you guys look like now.
Go ahead.
I never seen it.
Go ahead. Say
we'll keep it
something.
moving.
Let's talk about here real quick.
Can you hear me? We'll do it. Hey, this is a live IFB check.
Can he hear you?
Listen, it's okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's good. I was over here like I was freaking a black and mild. I had everything open. I was like, it's crazy.
Hey.
Let's try to right the ship here a little bit. We got a lot of football to talk about today. Browns obviously playing the Ravens on Sunday. Huge game. And it's an opportunity, certainly, for both Deshaun Watson and the Browns to prove they belong. Every time the Browns show an inch of being good, fans complain that national media doesn't give you any credit. Mm-hmm. But national media doesn't give you credit until you truly prove you belong. And to some degree, it did that against San Francisco, no doubt. I think Browns win this game against Baltimore, people are going to be looking at the Browns differently. And so now we start to break down the matchup as we get late in the week. And Mike, we're talking defense, right? The Ravens and the Browns have probably the two best defenses in the league. Whose is better? We're going to discuss. First, Mike's got some facts for us on this. Mike.
I got some facts I got to read, and I want to tell the people out there. We are monitoring very closely a situation with the Cavs. And we don't want to have a certain conversation about the Cavs until we feel we are fully justified and right in saying that. So anyone who's like, you guys ignore the Cavs, we are just not jumping the gun on a certain conversation. I think we all are on the same page of what we're talking about.
What, because of rumblings that he might get fired?
There are some things before we put a man's job on the line that we just got to make sure we are.
We're not
fully
putting his job on the line.
saying. So we are monitoring that situation. I think we're all thinking along the same lines as you guys are, and we will have that conversation very, very soon if need be. Before we get into the Browns defense versus the Ravens defense, let's talk a little bit about FanDuel, because FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and you can score early this season with FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time than right now to get in on the action. The app is simple to use, and they have a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And you could become a winner on FanDuel, just like our dear friend Wayne Trotter, who won a lot of money, $120 off a $5 four-part same-game parlay the other day. That's $120 on 5. If you send us your winning ticket, you could be featured on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, because there's no better place to win than FanDuel. All right, Bull. We mentioned it off the top. Let's get into some of the stats here. We're talking Ravens versus Browns. Which team truly has the #1 defense in the NFL this season? I'm going to let you guys get into this discussion. I just wanted to point out some stats here that I think will help give a little context to how good these two defenses have been. So let's start with the first stat. The fewest net yards allowed in a game this season. Well, it's #1 Cleveland, it's #2 Cleveland, and it's #3 Cleveland this season. No team, in terms of yards allowed, has been better than the Cleveland Browns this season. We go to the next stat, Steve. How about touchdowns allowed? The Ravens have allowed 9 touchdowns on defense this season in 9 games. That's 105 drives, 9 touchdowns allowed. The Browns defense, which we all know has been phenomenal in its own right, they're tied with the Steelers for 5th with 15. That is 40% more than the Ravens have given up this season. 9 touchdowns in 5 drives. Let's go to the next stat, Steve. How about fewest first downs allowed? Cleveland has only allowed 96 first downs in 8 games. Baltimore 149. The difference between 1 and 2, Dallas at 134, is 38. That's the same difference from Dallas to the 20th team in the league, is the 38 first down difference. No team allows fewer first downs. We talk about sacks, a very important defensive stat. Well, the Ravens lead the league in sacks this season. But in sacks per game, they're tied for first at 3.9. I wanted to give you the per game because not every team's played 8 games. The Browns tied for third with 3.4. But here's the caveat to that. Steve, you go to the next one. Highest sack percentage, so sacks per drop back.
Yep.
That's where the
more
Browns
important.
top the Baltimore Ravens, 11.3. Essentially, every 10 times the opposing team drops back to throw the ball, they're getting sacked. That is the highest rate in the NFL. Couple more here, just some advanced analytics.
Before you get to the advanced analytics, let me jump in for 1 second.
Sure.
Because what all of those stats don't account for that you've given us to this point is quality of opponent. That, now, obviously, if you're not, at this point, we're at the halfway point of the season. So it's enough of a sample size that obviously if you're number 1 or you're number 3, you're good. How good, though, you need to know the opponents, like the quality of the opponents compared to the other people in that mix.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to give you the 9 opponents versus the 8 opponents
Sure.
game by game, but just trying to give you a context. Pro Football Reference has this really cool stat, and I don't know the exact formula, but before I show you it, you'll see where these two teams rank compared to the rest of the league. It's called expected defensive points added. So how many points your defense got a 3 and out led to points. Short field led to points. I don't exactly know the formula, but look at the numbers. Number 1 in the league, Baltimore, 85.51 defensive points added this season. Number 2, the Browns at 85.06. They've played a game fewer, keep in mind.
So really the Browns is better if you do it on a per-game basis.
Yeah. But look at 3, 4, and 5. That's a 50-point gap between those two. Impressive. Let's go to DVOA, which both does take into account a little bit of the opponent you played.
Yeah.
This is the top DVOAs ever through 9 weeks. The 2007 Patriots had the top DVOA ever tracked through 9 weeks. The 2023 Ravens, the 3rd highest DVOA ever tracked at 49%.
2007 Patriots is like absurd.
DVOA essentially takes into account opponent, time, and measures your success on a certain play versus the league average on similar plays. Obviously, that's the 3rd highest DVOA through 9 weeks of all time. And here's success rate, which counts this season how successful a defense has been in stopping teams. They only started tracking this since 2016. Look at the top 2 teams. The Browns this season, 69.4% success rate. This according to Next Gen Stats. The 2023 Ravens, the 2nd highest, or I guess tied for 2nd highest, ever tracked at 63.8%. Those are some of the numbers. Guys, in your opinion, do the Browns have the number 1 defense in the NFL right now, or does Baltimore?
Tyvis, start us off.
Man, that was a lot of
That's a lot of information to take in, right?
I mean, I think it goes back to Bull's point about who each team played. But you can't necessarily say that because, like, the Ravens and the Browns played some similar teams. And as good as their defense is, they might have not had that same success against those teams. Like, I think that – let me see that chart that shows the Browns' net yards. The top 3 net performance.
One thing I think is important to keep in mind. The 3 of us have watched every moment of every Browns game.
Yes.
Now, I can't speak for you guys, but I've seen a decent amount of the Ravens, but I haven't seen every play of every Ravens game.
Right.
I'm sure you guys are the same, probably, right?
Yeah,
so in terms of the eye test, it's a little hard because we've
Can I
seen
also say
the
one
Browns
thing
more than
real
the
quick?
Ravens.
You talk about quality opponents.
Yeah.
They've played a lot of the same teams.
That's what
both
I'm
teams
saying.
Have played Cincinnati. Both teams have played Indy. Both teams have played Pittsburgh. Both teams have played Tennessee. Both teams have played Arizona. Both teams have played Seattle.
And that's
They've played
what,
7 of the same.
That's where I
teams,
was about to go with it.
7
like,
already of the same team?
I was going to say.
The only 2 teams that Baltimore's played that Cleveland hasn't played is Houston and Detroit. The other 7 of their opponents are 7 of the 8 opponents.
Well,
that
it
Browns
can't be
played.
7 because they played each other. That's not. You're saying that's the same opponent?
Yeah, they'll play each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who are the 2? So what is the one game? Who's the only team the Browns have played that the Ravens haven't played?
The Browns have played
San Francisco.
San Francisco is the
Okay,
only
so
team that they've played that the Ravens.
So the
haven't
Browns have
played.
played San Francisco. The Ravens haven't, and they played great against San Francisco defensively. The Ravens have played the Lions
And Houston.
And Houston.
And week 1 against Houston.
What's that?
Week 1 against Houston, yeah.
Right. So, and those teams are good offensively as well.
Well, my whole point is that they played the same amount, and although you could say that Arizona's offense isn't good or Tennessee's offense isn't good, they still played. The Ravens played them too, and they didn't hold them to those type of numbers as well.
Now,
so
in fairness,
that is something to think about.
In fairness, though, the Cardinals had, when they played the Ravens, they had Josh Dobbs. Now, Josh Dobbs isn't great, but he's better than the kid who played last week.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at it, when you look at a defense, what's the number one stat that a lot of people care about? Sacks, takeaways, and points.
I only care about points. I mean, ultimately.
I care about
that's the most important.
I really care about. I'm a DB, so I care about the takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, that's big. But
they tied, so.
Yeah.
Listen, if all of these stats is true, it should be a 6-3 game is what we're about to get. But, obviously I'm biased because I like the Browns defense and I love the talent that they got. The Ravens, though,
it's we're splitting hairs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, both of them is really good. I can't say who has the number one defense. I really don't know. Like, you can make an argument for both, and I won't tell you're wrong. Both of them is really good defense.
That's the point of a debate show, Don.
I can't choose. There's no way to choose one.
If the Browns win this game, then I'm taking the Browns because the Browns defense has a much tougher test this week. Well, Watson's playing, so I'm not going to say much tougher test. But obviously Lamar's playing a lot better than Watson right now. So it's a tougher test this week plus it's on the road. It's a tougher test for the Browns defense than it is for the Ravens defense. So if the Browns win the defensive battle this week, if I had to say right now, you go, and then I'll go after you. Go ahead.
Man, come on, man. Listen, I'm not about to sit up here and bow out. I saw the Ravens get touched just like y'all did against the Colts. I saw them get touched.
We got touched against the Colts.
Yeah, I know. So it's the same difference. Like
that's what I'm saying.
My thing is the reason I'm going with the Cleveland Browns is we've been dominant against teams, and when I mean dominant, under 50 yards, 70-something yards, 140-something yards. And by the way, let's be real. The reason our defense is better than their defense is if you go out and you watch the Ravens play, they got their quarterback, and they know they don't have to hold nobody to 0 points. Lamar Jackson and his cast of characters have a solid offense. They can go, and as a matter of fact, people say he's playing like the MVP right now. So the level of stress that's on their defense ain't the same. We are not built the same. Lamar Jackson is out here putting up decent numbers. Look at them numbers he's putting up. Guess what we had? P.J. Walker. We can't win no games. We had DTR. We played the majority of our games with P.J. Walker and DTR, and we knew to beat the 49ers, you had to hold them to a certain amount of points. To beat the Bengals, you had to hurt them to – like, we don't got no juggernaut offense. Our quarterback play has been horrible. But guess what? Our defense has been the reason we've won games. If you were Lamar Jackson them, they could say they 7-2 because of Lamar Jackson and what he's doing. For us, our defense is the reason, the whole sole reason that we have 5 wins. And on top of it, they don't have Myles Garrett. If everything's being equal, and it's like basketball, if everything being equal, you going to say, well, who got the star player? Charles Barkley said all the time, star player. If you got LeBron, he's the equalizer. I like their defense. I like the guys in the secondary. I even like what they're doing up front. But Kyle Van Noy and your boy Jadavian, that's cool. That's fine. But y'all don't got the premier guy. They got good guys.
They don't got a premier guy.
We got a guy that could take over and win you a football game. And they don't got that. I'm going with the Browns.
All right. I agree with
pretty
much
all
everything G said there. Listen, this is splitting hairs. It's 51-49 Browns.
Yep.
It's as close as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
But for a lot of the reasons G said, and I'm going to start with the most important thing he said, and that's Myles Garrett. That, in the end, is the difference. Now, I could argue the other way and say, if Myles Garrett gets hurt, the Browns are screwed.
Yes.
Whereas the Ravens don't necessarily have that one player that would be a big problem if he got hurt. I will say, I do think the Ravens have, if you look at the 3 units on the defense, I think the Ravens' edge at linebacker is pretty significant over the Browns, I think. Whereas the Browns are better on the D-line and the secondary, but not by as much as I think the Ravens are ahead at linebacker. But overall, I think the Browns are ahead by a hair. I think what you said about the Ravens are playing all these games with a lot of confidence in their offense, and that takes pressure off the defense. The Browns have not been able to play that way the entire season. Both teams are great. Both teams, I do think Marlon Humphrey is an elite corner.
Yes.
I know he's been hurt the last couple of years, but the Browns have 2 elite corners.
Right? Just because you don't hear about Emerson as much.
It is zero knock at the Ravens. They're a fantastic defense. And by the end of the year, maybe they are number 1. We'll see. But right now, today, if I had to choose,
That man got
by,
Hold on.
by a slight margin, I'm taking the Browns.
he got 6 picks.
Who's this Dwight Stone? Who's this Geno Stone? This sounds like a creative player for Madden.
Dude got 6
He got
picks.
34 tackles, which is a lot for a
6
corner.
INT, yeah. I guess they
7
have,
pass
they have
breakup.
2 elite corners.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah,
say,
man. Hey, 6
dude,
picks too?
Sorry.
Dude like that.
Yeah,
He
that's
leads
pretty
the
wild.
NFL in interceptions this season, G. Also, last week he picked off Geno Smith. It was the first ever Geno-on-Geno interception.
By the way, Geno Smith is not playing well.
Geno
Tell
and
me
Geno
about it. He's on
Prime.
my fantasy
He
team.
is not playing well, Geno Smith.
He got paid.
But the Browns do. The Browns have a slight advantage.
Slight.
It's
Because of
very
Myles
ever so
Garrett.
slight. I love the linebacker Owe. I can't think of his first name.
The dude from Penn State.
Yeah, he's become a really, really good player.
Yeah. He ran a 4.3 at the combine and shot right into the second
Now,
round.
didn't they get another dude that tore his ACL from Michigan or something?
Yeah, David Obajo.
David Ojabo.
Jabo, he's.
I wanted the Browns to draft him.
They got some
He had
speed.
tore his Achilles in his workout.
And I think and them moving Patrick Queen outside of the middle, and now you have Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen.
And they drafted a rookie from Clemson, didn't
He
they?
was a big difference maker.
Yeah.
For them.
Roquan Smith?
Because their defense
Yeah.
was not very good last year, and they got him. And you're right, Patrick Queen, who it seemed like he was trending toward a bust, has now gotten better.
Yeah.
And Marlon Humphrey has been hurt the last couple of years. So
He's healthy.
having him healthy, it's really close. But I think the Browns slight edge.
Because of Myles Garrett.
I think ultimately, and I do agree with G. Like they've had more dominant efforts.
Yeah.
The Browns, yeah.
The Browns have more dominant
Well, I
efforts.
got to look at some scores. Hold on.
Although,
Ty, you want the scores for each?
Yeah,
each
give
team?
honestly,
give
what
me
the
the
Ravens
give me-
did. What the Ravens did to both the Lions and the Seahawks, especially the Lions,
Yeah.
because the Lions' offense has been great.
That's what
all
I'm
year.
saying. That's what I'm
That was
saying.
pretty
Like
impressive.
I don't know
And
how
that's
y'all.
why it's so close. But I'm going to take the Browns by a hair.
2 things real quick. We just mentioned a bunch of really good defensive players on the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
And I agree with you guys. I think it's 51-49 Browns. I think this may be the closest discussion or topic we've had where you can make a damn good case for either side.
Did you poll this?
We did, and I'll give you the results at the
Okay.
end.
Yeah, but of course, our fans.
We
do,
didn't mention Justin Madubuike on the Ravens either yet. Their defensive tackles had a sacks in 6 straight games. He's going to be part of the 5 facts you got to know tomorrow.
Okay.
Who might be the most underrated defensive tackle in all of football.
Yeah.
He leads the team in sacks. 3rd-round pick out of A&M a couple
I had
years
no
ago.
idea that guy led the team in sacks.
That was-
He's
said
been
they-
phenomenal. He has a sack in
they-
6 straight games, which
Yeah.
is a new Baltimore record. You want some scores real quick, Tyvis?
Yeah, let me get their score.
The Ravens held Houston to 9 points, and that was C.J.
Now, that was
Stroud's
his first game ever, though.
Yeah,
so little.
we ain't gonna count that.
Bull, you can tell us a little more about this. Cincinnati, they won 27-24. The Bengals scored late, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they didn't. Listen, we all know that Burrow wasn't playing well early in the season, like he didn't against the Browns. But
put up
that
20
game wasn't as close as the final score.
I'm about to say, if they see each other again, I got my money on Cincy.
They lost in overtime to Indianapolis, 22-19.
Yeah, they played. Their offense was terrible in that game. That was
Yeah.
more about their offense.
They beat Cleveland 28-3. They lost to Pittsburgh 17-10. They were up that entire game.
Yeah,
Kenny
they-
Pickett
they
had that weird,
let it
crazy
get away
fourth
at the
quarter.
end. Yeah.
They held Tennessee to 16 points. They held Detroit to 6 points. They held Arizona to 24. And I shouldn't say they held.
A lot of that was in garbage time.
Arizona scored 17 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Man, when you hear stuff like that,
And then they held
though-
Seattle to 3 points.
Yeah. I mean, what they did to Seattle and Detroit was very impressive.
Yeah, it was.
But what the Browns did to the Bengals and Tennessee, Arizona I can't get as worked up about because that was just horrible.
Yeah.
But, Tennessee's offense has been decent this year besides the Browns game.
Well, Will Levis has been the spark.
He
plug.
looks good.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
I can't. Either way.
The rest of the season, you know what? Every
Either
other
way.
team in the league would trade defenses with either of these teams.
These are the 2 best, right? There's
Without a
no
doubt.
other
It's not close.
question
It
that
ain't-
someone
yeah.
else could be in that
There's
conversation.
no, but the next group is probably like San Francisco.
and then
Philly,
don't
and a
even get
couple
me
others.
started. Steve Wilkes about to get fired. That's a shame. That's a shame. You can't
They
have
lost 3 in a row.
You can't have a defense.
They pulled them
like
out of the
that.
booth.
Yeah, I seen that. You can't have a defense like that and can't produce like that. And the dude last year just had them number one. Like,
And they got
head and shoulders
Chase.
for
They got
everybody.
Chase Young now.
Yeah, that was a nice
He
addition.
better save his job.
All right, Mike, what do you got for us now?
Let's do Aditi said she's going to be a few minutes late, so we're going to change the order of the rundown. We're going to talk Denzel Ward real quick while we're still on the defense here. And before we do that, I need to tell the good people of the world that Jace Medical is allowing everyone to be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jace Medical offers the Jace Case. The Jace Case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use, giving you a peace of mind so you're not just hoping you have access to medication in an emergency, but you actually will get it. Jace Medical makes sure you have that medication in hand. It's simple. They handle everything from online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care, so don't get caught unprepared. You get $20 off these life-saving antibiotics today from Jace Medical by using promo code LOCKEDON. So check out Jace Medical at jacemedical.com. That is JASE medical.com.
I got to tell you, Mike, I have never – this is going to be a surprise because everybody knows I like analytics, and I do believe in being smart and not just being a dummy who doesn't use numbers. I have never been questioning PFF more than now because I was going through PFF yesterday I was looking at all the Browns players and the Bengals players that play a lot, just not for even work. I was just interested. And I saw some guys, I'm like, this guy, because obviously for the Browns and the Bengals, I watch every game. And I'm like, this guy's playing way better than this. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
They changed their grading system this year, and they're going to go – I already heard Sam Monson say in a podcast. They're going to go back to last year's grading system because these grades frankly don't
Ward
make sense.
was like the 40th ranked corner or something.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about.
It's impossible.
Ty,
Yeah.
you've known Denzel for a while now.
Yeah.
What has taken his game from really good to – I mean, he's been elite in the past, but consistently this season. And you correct me.
No, I don't think he's been elite in the past. Not consistently for a whole year. I think he's been, in my opinion, a notch below elite.
Has he been elite this year in your mind, Bull?
Has he ever made All-Pro?
I think he has.
Denzel Ward. Let me check on that.
The year before he
I don't
got
think he
paid.
was All-Pro. I think he made the Pro Bowl.
I feel like he made.
I think he's made 2 Pro Bowls, if I remember.
He never made
Denzel Ward
team.
has not made All-Pro, but he has made 2 Pro Bowls. Bull was right.
First year, right?
2018 and 2021.
Yeah.
So Ty, I guess the question is,
Yeah.
how has Jim Schwartz helped unlock the full potential of Denzel Ward?
Well, I think the number one thing is he brings that energy for sure. If you look at Denzel Ward last year, you look at him this year, you could tell that totally he's more locked in this year, and on top of anything, he's having way more fun out there. I mean, the little striking up the guitar thing. I mean, you see it all the time, and I think that no knock to Joe Woods, but Denzel is a man-to-man corner, and you kept putting him in those zones, and it was a lot of thinking involved. Obviously, we've seen the coverage bust against the Jets game where they completely just whiffed. So I think it's not a lot of thinking involved. He knows, hey, I got this dude right here. I'm going up against probably the best receiver they got every game. I know I'm like that. I'm back. I'm 100% healthy, and I know I can strap anybody up.
Yeah.
And I think Jim Schwartz brought that confidence in there because coming into the season, everybody was like, he had a bad year. And you don't know what to expect from your defense when you get a new defensive coordinator out there. But you see these guys hunting. You see the success. So you start buying in more. And you know that you're a pivotal piece of that. Because if you got a number one corner that can shut a guy down, you helping guys get sacks or you getting interceptions. And I think that's what we see in this year. Just a confident Denzel who's having fun, that's really enjoying what he's doing, and he don't have to think about anything.
You know, Tyvis, man, I like what you said right there. It irks me when I hear people say, just going back, well, you can't run man-to-man coverage against so-and-so because they'll pick you apart.
Who told you that?
Man.
I played San Francisco versus Oakland Raiders in 2018. Was that 2017, 2018? We ran man-to-man probably 50 snaps. And I looked at Robert Saleh like, dude, you can't call nothing else?
No.
I was like, okay, it is what it is.
That's what we like, man. Listen, I don't want my coaches, you can mix some zone up as a mix-up, but listen, I don't like my defensive coordinator's philosophy to be sitting back playing, let's wait and see if they can make a mistake. No, we make you make mistakes.
Yes.
We're going to put pressure on you and we're going to be in your face. I don't like that.
And they do it without blitzing, too.
Just go ahead and just sit back and let them carve you on up and then hold them to 3. You giving up points. Your name is a defensive coordinator is like, look, We supposed to be attacking. I love attacking style defense. And when you watch these guys, Martin Emerson is a big corner. You got Denzel Ward, whose best characteristics when you go back to Ohio State is playing man to man. And you got guys that want to get after the quarterback. Everything works hand to hand. Don't be putting your linebackers. That's why Taki only played 20-something snaps. He got a high PFF grade because he played like 12 snaps. Good on rundowns. Don't be putting them guys back there talking about, well, we couldn't get our mics in there to the deep zone. There's a reason mics don't get back to the deep zone because their names is mics. They don't do that. That's so I love the fact that they got him hype and excited now.
Well, and also what's helped all the corners is the fact that their safeties are playing at such a high level.
Yeah.
Right? If you trust your safeties to, because you play man-to-man, you're going to get beat once in a while.
Every now and again.
Right? So that was painful for you to say right there.
Again.
But if you trust your safeties that they could save you if you make a mistake, then I think you're going to play with confidence. And you talked about Jim Schwartz building up his confidence more. When you're playing with confidence, even if you do make a mistake, it's not going to go away.
No.
Right? You're not going to lose that confidence based on one mistake.
Corner, when you play corner in the NFL, you truly have to believe, and without doubt, that I am the best player ever to play this game. If you don't have that confidence, you're never going to last that corner because you're on an island by yourself. And if they beat you, if they just happen to beat you, got to be crazy enough to say to yourself, that was fluke. You'll never get that again, and you got to line up and go play again. So, listen, for me, when I look at Denzel last year, it wasn't the fact that I didn't feel like he was that far away. It just felt like he was a step off last year. It was like one step. He would be close, but he would never make the play. Like, he'd give up the catch, but he'd be right there. This year, he's all over the stuff this year. Like, he running routes for people and picking balls off. So it's like he's totally locked in. He's bought in. His film preparation is unbelievable because he's running routes for wide receivers. And his confidence is through the roof. I'm telling you, that man right there believes that he's the number one corner in this league.
I think he's made more plays in half a season than he did the whole season last year.
I probably agree with you.
Now, listen, I don't know. You know him personally, and obviously we're not asking anybody to share any personal information.
Yeah.
But I had heard from a couple of different people that he was going through something personally last year, and that maybe that played a role. Because you talked about him being happy. He didn't look happy last year.
He did not.
And this year he looks like he's super happy.
Man, he's smiling every time you see him.
Without saying any specifics, obviously,
was there
something going on for him personally that affected him?
What I will tell you is that there's always stuff that's going on in athletes' lives. And it does trickle down to your play at times. You might not necessarily think it does, but it does in the grand scheme of things. And I think that maybe a little bit of stuff that he had going on kind of seeped into his play a little bit. And I think he tried to find himself later on in the season, but it's like the damage had already been kind of done.
It's tough.
I mean, I've been in their doghouse too, but it's okay. You can always apologize.
I mean, listen. Last year you got to think about it. It was coverage bust. They was losing games that they shouldn't have lost.
Talk about we gotta get
like
on the
they
same
did.
page.
It was something like as simple as communication. As simple as this. Hey, we in man. Whatever the sign is, we in man. Like they couldn't. They didn't even do that.
No.
Like that's
how many times
sick.
did we have that conversation?
That is sick to me.
Yeah.
You couldn't look to your safety and say, hey, whatever the signal is.
How many times last year did I say we'd be like, Tyvis, how come they can't talk to each other? Shouldn't this be obvious?
That's what I'm saying. It was something going on, and you couldn't even do that simple thing.
Tyvis, you done been on squads. You done been on teams that hang out together, that party, that kick it, that's real tight. But then you be on other squads, and they don't like each other like that. This team looks like they like each other. They look like they got more camaraderie. They all playing. Last year it seemed like they was like saying, look, I'm sacrificing what I do best for somebody else because they can't get it done. Like, here's the thing. You don't have to get on the same page when I know who I got. Now I could go to you and be like, you got beat on a corner route. Not, well, I was supposed to pass 3 off and it was a 2x1, but the 2x1 and it was a cloud coverage. No, I don't hear all that.
I think for me, when I realized that this team was special this year, when I finally was like, they got something, there is something there, was San Francisco. And I'm not even talking about the game. It was before the game, the scuffle before the game.
Yep.
That was when I was like, because in years past, somebody get in a scuffle, people mosey over there, try to show something. But I think this game, this San Francisco scuffle, they was sprinting over there I got you, bro. Hold on, what you doing?
Yeah,
so I think that to me lets me know that this team they got each other's backs. Like I say, P.J. Walker started that game, and they didn't blink. Them dudes was like, don't worry, P.J., we got you on defense. We're going to hold it down until you get right. Like, that's special. And that's why I think that's the biggest difference. So, I don't know who brought the change. I don't know if it was Jim Schwartz. I don't know if Kevin Stefanski said something different. I do know having new coaches in there will change culture. But this team, to me, if anything, they got each other's backs no matter what. Obviously, we seen David Njoku come on, and out of the little 10 minutes he talked, he made sure he said, we believe in Deshaun Watson. We got Deshaun Watson's back. Like, he letting you know, like, we all in on this thing.
They need to start a scuffle. I need a scuffle
With Baltimore?
No, just with Baltimore.
Don't worry. Odell gonna do something.
They need a scuffle. Because here's my thing. Like, they be trying to little brother. They be trying to really little brother.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I want to see Odell not have a single catch in this game. Not that he's done any.
He had a touchdown last game.
That was in garbage time. The game was already over.
Yeah.
Well,
They were up like 30
You got to
points.
build. You got to get going.
I need that work because here's the thing. A lot of times with the Browns, and I'm starting to see in these chats in different places, the Browns fans is tired of it. Like we're tired of taking 2 L's to the Ravens every year. Like, let me just remind you, the Baltimore Ravens are your old team. It's almost the equivalent of what they did. It's like you losing your ex-girlfriend or wife, and guess what happens? She not only loses weight, she gets smarter, she goes get a degree, she's winning in life, and she marries a supermodel dude that's more famous than you. You supposed to be upset. No. You not gonna start working out you working out now?
Yeah.
What happened in them 4 years before?
You would be upset.
1995, they took your team. In a couple years, they won a championship. They took your best player, Ozzie Newsome, and then they made him director of player operations, and all he did was go get player after player, Super Bowl after Super Bowl, and go to get guys that are Hall of Famers. And you've been left holding the bag. At some point in time, somebody's going to have to get upset and say, look, the old Ravens, the old Browns, whatever the case it is, it's a new day. You're not going to treat us like that. We need to get it done.
Yeah. Browns need to kick some ass, be physical in this game, obviously. All right, Mike, we got Aditi coming up in about 10 minutes.
About
or
10
so.
minutes, yeah. She got someone came up, so she had to push it back a few minutes. If you guys are watching, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. It goes a long, long way in making sure UCSS gets out to the most people possible. It helps a ton on the back end. On Fridays from 12:30 to 1, as you guys know, we are always on WKYC on Channel 3, so make sure you guys download the WKYC app or the WKYC Plus app if you're not in the Cleveland market. If you are, watch us on Channel 3. It's 30 minutes of brand new content. And tomorrow's also Veterans Day, so if you are a UCSS viewer and you're a veteran or someone in your family's a veteran, send us a picture. We're going to honor some of the UCSS veterans tomorrow on the show. We appreciate everyone who gave us who put the ultimate sacrifice out to help us and this country. So we appreciate all the veterans out there. We'll feature them tomorrow on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. While we wait for Aditi, let's talk a little bit about Baltimore's running game, how the Browns are going to have to kind of scheme to stop that. We're going to have a Coach Tyvis segment tomorrow on stopping the read option. But today, let's talk about Lamar versus the Browns, the Ravens running backs, excuse me. They have a stable of running backs, and it seems like whoever's in the backfield has been productive for the Ravens. But if you're looking from a Browns perspective, what's a more dangerous facet of the Ravens' rushing attack? Lamar and design scrambles, or whoever the hell's in the backfield who seems to pick up 4.5 yards per carry?
Guys, for me, listen, the Ravens have some solid backs, and their running game is dangerous, but I'm way more concerned about Lamar running than I am about their running backs. The Browns have shut down better running backs than the Ravens have.
Yeah.
But Lamar gave them fits, and Lamar gives a lot of people fits. And Lamar is, look at that. He's only, 38 yards behind Gus Edwards there. Lamar is the biggest problem. He gave them problems the first time they played, and he's a guy you're not used to having to account for because there's really nobody else in the league, maybe Justin Fields, that can run like Lamar can. And to me, that's the bigger concern. What say you guys?
I agree with you. If as a matter of fact, the first time they played the Ravens, I sat right here and I said, that they should have some type of good game plan for Lamar, and G. Bush scolded me and said they should just rush in there and get after him. And I said, I'm just telling you right now, you're going to create some lanes and it's going to get dangerous. And we know who won that argument. So I think that, you know, with them, I'm not worried about the rushing attack from the running backs, because I think that the defensive tackles has to be the ones that get that nipped in the bud. Your defensive tackles have to be solid. I mean, coming off of Arizona, yes, I know it's Arizona, but coming off of that performance, it showed that y'all have the ability to be very effective in the run game. So if you guys can clog up that middle and keep your linebackers free, they'll be able to free flow and be able to hit these running backs and hit Lamar and or have eyes on Lamar. I think the difference between like the other quarterbacks, like Gardner Minshew when he ran on us, nobody expected Gardner Minshew to run the ball, so that was why he was effective. With Lamar, you will have eyes on Lamar. You better make sure you got a skillful athlete that can chase him down, and everybody better be ready to run inside and out to the ball, because the guy on the outside has to keep him contained, and everybody else between the D-line and the linebackers got to flow inside out and make a tackle.
By the way, in the first game, Lamar didn't have a big game in terms of yards per carry.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns.
He had 9 carries, 27 yards, but as you said, 2 touchdowns.
As I follow House decorum rules, I let the distinguished councilman for Columbus get his money off, and I did not interrupt him. Now it is a councilman from the great city of Canton that gets his money. Could you stop my time? Could you just stop my time? Okay, here we go. See, here's the thing. As you said before, Bull, he didn't really kill you on the ground. What you got to do going into this football game is you have to actually do something and take something away from Lamar Jackson. The problem everybody has with Lamar Jackson is they don't do. You're a man without a country. You don't stop the run, and you don't stop the pass. You give him a bunch of time to throw the ball and make plays and scramble around, but you still give him running lanes on read options and RPOs. So what you have to do against Lamar Jackson is you have to establish that, listen, at all times, Lamar Jackson, you will have a chaperone. You will be held accountable, and you're going to have to either run or pass. I would put JOK on him, and I say, JOK, you have no responsibilities. Your job is to follow him wherever he goes. Make sure you go ahead and get that done. Now, what I'm doing up front is I'm saying, look, our job is to stop the run. No read option, no triple option, no RPOs. If Lamar Jackson want to sit back in the pocket and throw for 350 yards on man-to-man coverage, I'm going to shake his hand, and I'm going to go back to Cleveland and say, listen, you did what you need to do. But Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, he cannot sit in the pocket and not scramble and be effective and throw for 350 yards. As a matter of fact, going back a couple of years, I gave you Exhibit A. You didn't have the exhibit. They don't have it ready, but I'll give it to you next time. Exhibit A is here. We went to Baltimore, and he gave you 4 first-half interceptions, Bull. 4 first-half interceptions. And the Browns, with your guy, JJ3, they did a good job of keeping him in the pocket, making sure that he wasn't throwing the football. Now, the Browns couldn't finish that game off, but that game is a 16-13 type ball game with bad quarterback play. If they can come in here and do the same thing and say, listen, your run game, no Justice Hill, none of these other guys, we're going to sell out on that run, you beat us with the pass. I don't think Lamar. I yield the rest of my time to the distributors from Cincinnati.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
I think the Browns, when the Ravens run RPO, they should hit Lamar every time.
Yep.
Even if he gets rid of the ball, hit him.
You paying the fine?
Are you gonna? If you give him a, what do you mean? You're not gonna hit him? I'm not saying hit him in the head.
He had the ball. We thought he had the ball.
You know what league this is?
You can't tackle a guy?
Yeah.
If he has the ball in a second.
It better be 2 steps.
I'm not saying run 10 feet and hit him.
2 steps.
I'm just saying, don't pull up at the last second. Keep going through.
Okay.
He wants to run. He wants to fake run. Make him feel it.
Just be aware that it's a 15-yard penalty
These guys got
and a fine.
Let Myles Garrett got plenty of money. Let him pay the fines for the other guys. By the way, on a quick side note, before you go, apparently Jamar Chase is supposedly going to do some crazy dance or something for his next touchdown, and Chad Johnson said he was going to pay his fine.
Well, see, that's the thing. I was going to say that. If the defense coordinator say, I got your fine, by all means.
Do it. Let's go.
But back to you, okay? Two things. One, I don't know where my guy JJ3. I don't know where that came from. I just whatever. That's not even. Secondly, are you insinuating? Because when I said that the first game, I said, you know what? They shouldn't get after Lamar. They should keep him in the pocket and don't have no lanes that he can escape out of. And you told me blasphemy. Get after. What is this defense good at? We get after him. Don't stop. Don't change what you do for Lamar. You come to you see the light. That's what you're telling me.
Are you yielding your time?
Yeah, I am. Go ahead.
He yielded me the rest of this time. I'll take 15 seconds to talk about what he did. Now, listen, Tyvis, you misconstrue. You get after him. Listen, you conflate two things. Just because you get after the quarterback doesn't mean you blitz. We got one of the best pass rushers with just 4. That's what I'm talking about. You got to get after him. We're not going to bait and sit here and patty cake. We got Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Dalvin Thompson just had 3 sacks.
What about the rushing lanes, though? What about them lanes?
Now, here's the thing.
Is it like best pass and move, do your thing, and get to the quarterback by any means?
Now, let's not be silly now.
Okay, I'm just asking because last couple weeks ago you told me go all out.
Listen, I'm a fiscally responsible guy with pass rush moves.
Okay.
I don't believe in selling out on anything. Judiciously,
I love that you learn from your mistakes.
Sometimes when you're dealing with extraordinary people, you have to do extraordinary things. You got to sometimes respect that.
Do we think that Jim Schwartz will do that? Will say, JOK, your job today is to follow Lamar like a shadow. You have no other responsibility. Does that happen? To that extreme ever?
The Michael Vick rule. That was the Mike Vick. That he got that. Who else got that?
So my issue with that, I don't have an issue with it. What is JOK playing? Is he playing the Will or the Sam? Is he every down?
No.
So he's only coming in.
Didn't his snaps get cut down last week?
So
Significantly,
technically, Taki's the other linebacker that's on the field all the time.
No, his is one down too.
So
Tony Fields went up.
So you telling me this? So when we go nickel, it's Will Walker and Tony Fields.
It's probably Walker and a mix of one of the other guys.
If I'm going nickel, I would like to have McLeod as a safety, and I would like to have Delpit in the box.
So you wouldn't go nickel. You wouldn't have a corner at the nickel spot.
No, I will still have a corner.
You're taking a linebacker out. You going down.
Yeah.
So you're going 6 DBs, 1 linebacker.
Yeah,
he going down.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll get back to the defense, obviously, including as part of our conversation with Aditi Kinkabwala.
And we don't even have a read.
Yes.
That's how special Aditi is.
Yeah.
She overrides any read we had. So let's bring in our favorite sideline reporter, and I have a very important analytic for you guys. And Steve, I should have told you to get this ready, but can you pull up 2:15, please? If you guys don't know, the most important stat this week is what we're about to show you. Steve, you can take it full, and then we can just make it Didi's mic top. But the Browns are 3-0 this season with the Didi on the sidelines. So send the Didi to Baltimore. Make sure she gets to Baltimore in any capacity.
The game's on Fox, I think.
I don't care. Make her an assistant coach.
Make her an assistant coach.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. I mean, it has to be a CBS sideline assignment for it to work.
That's a good
That's
point.
the parameters of it.
So you're saying,
although it feels very funny to be sitting here in my Browns gear. So I just went for a run. It should be totally okay to work out in free clothes, right? Like, is that okay? Or is that a bad thing if, as an unbiased, impartial reporter, in the middle of the season, I'm seen wearing Browns clothing?
I think it's one of those things, if you are a homer, like if you had a team that you were solid with, like this is the team that I ride for, it would be an issue. But if you're telling me that you're totally unbiased and you don't have a team that you're loyal to, then by all means.
I mean, if you get
it's free.
Gear,
it's free. It's a free hat. It's a free shirt. Why would I not sweat in free clothes?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You get them free. You can say, I'm willing to wear anything from anybody in the league as long as it's free. I'm just representing everybody.
Yeah. I mean, if Mike Tomlin wants to send me Steelers gear, I'll wear it. I don't care. Free is free. Everybody likes free.
I wouldn't hold your breath for that.
I'm about to say.
You've been talking to Tomlin? You know how he feels about me?
Yeah, we're pretty tight. We're pretty tight. Yeah.
I don't think he likes that 3-0 stat. I will tell you, I did get a message. I got a text message from someone high up in the Ravens organization this week saying, you better not be anywhere near our game this weekend.
This person was joking, right?
I mean, yeah, but like that's a pretty big stat right there. It's not like the Browns are 9-0 and okay, I was there for 3 of them. I mean, the Browns are only 5-3, right? So like 3 of the 5 wins, I happen to be there. Deshaun Watson's 2 best games, the defense's 2 best games. I mean, that should That's sort of
I
a
think there's
fun
some divine
coincidence.
intervention here. I don't believe in any of that stuff.
I mean, it's a coincidence. It's
Of course it
coincidence.
is.
Although we did try to tease Deshaun that he plays well when he knows I'll be there.
What are the three games? The Cardinals, the Texans, not the Texans. They haven't played.
No, the Titans, the Colts, and the Cardinals.
Okay.
So the
All right,
Titans
fair.
and the Titans and the Cardinals were obviously the two best defensive performances, less than 100 total yards. And then Deshaun, the most complete game was the Titans game. Then Deshaun gets hurt,
Yeah.
and now it looks like Deshaun is finally finally turned the corner and is ready to like get on the run that everybody's been waiting for 2 years now.
Gosh, I hope so. I can't believe I just said gosh, by the way. What happened?
What? What's
I'm
wrong
so
with gosh?
Midwestern saying gosh now.
Well, you live in Ohio now. You've lived in Ohio
I
for a
know.
long time.
I've become very Midwestern the last year or two. I'm fully immersed. I'm going to high school football games and homecoming. It's crazy times. I'm eating at chain restaurants, all kinds of things. What does that say?
And you
No
write
curse.
"Don't curse, idiots." Is
I
that
didn't
what you're
write that. If I wrote it, you wouldn't be able to read it because I have terrible handwriting. But Aditi, you talked about Deshaun Watson maybe turning the corner here. We all hope so, right? He did not play well in the first half of that game. He struggled. He was throwing mostly short. Second half, he played a lot better. But he's still got a ways to go to get back to the quarterback he wanted to be, right?
Well, look, this is, our analyst, Adam Archuleta, said this during the game, that it feels as if every time Deshaun Watson has gone out this year, it's almost like his first game.
Yeah.
You need to be able to stack reps. This is for us, too. I mean, I'm having this conversation with my agent that I'm better. My second game is better than my first game. My third game is better than my second game. It's all about stacking reps. And when you look at Deshaun Watson, we know how beautiful that deep ball is. I think I just saw Amari Cooper say that that was the prettiest deep ball he's ever caught. We know that he can do that. And it sure looked really, really good Sunday. It's that intermediate passing game, those timing passes, those short passes that inevitably just need more work, and you need to stack reps. And Deshaun Watson has not been able to properly stack reps. I mean, we heard him say earlier in the season that maybe he should have played more in the preseason just to get to stack those reps. So I think now, as you see, okay, he is healthy. The first question I asked him coming out of this game Sunday was, okay, how is the shoulder? And he said it feels great. So that's a great step. Getting a full week of practice in this week, just like he did last week, that's going to be really good. Look, he's playing a great defense this week. And I had this conversation on the sideline near the end of the game with a member of ownership about how much the Browns ran the ball and passed the ball. I think it's really good that they ran the ball and ran the ball so well this last week, because they're going to need to run the ball in Baltimore. They're going to need to control the clock. They're going to need to wear down that defense to some degree. So being able to manage that, having Deshaun Watson know when to be in run, when to be in pass, what to check in and out of, like all of that is valuable. And it was good. One of the things that he said to us last week is that could he have used one more week to sort of heal up that shoulder a little bit more? Sure, he could have. But he said there are two really huge games coming up in the Ravens and the Steelers, and he wanted to knock some of that rust off before this run of two unbelievably important division games. So, again, I think that it's very reasonable to expect to see him feel even more comfortable this next week. And, at this point, you just hope he can stay healthy. You really do. And this season, this team, Kevin Stefanski, I just want Kevin Stefanski to have a run of somewhat normalcy, if that's even remotely possible for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, his entire tenure has been crazy. Really.
That's funny you bring him up, because you just led me right to my question for you. I'm gonna make a statement. You tell me if it's foul or fair.
Okay.
Given what is wrong? Can I say it? Given the situation of this year, of everything that he's been through, should he be coach of the year for what he's done of this season?
No.
So right now, and we stop today, boom, right now.
No. Not yet, but let's see where the season goes, and I think he can be in the conversation for sure.
That's fair.
All right, well, listen, I'm going to play along. I'm going to go foul or fair too.
Okay.
I'm going to piggyback this.
Foul or fair?
All right.
Foul or
Here we
fair.
go.
Right now, Kevin Stefanski, if it ended today, would get a coaching extension with the Browns. Foul or fair?
Are you saying if I were the one in charge, what would I do? Or am I predicting
Let's go.
ownership?
No, if you're the Browns organization.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. You've no idea what mess this organization would be in, what this team would be in, if not for Kevin Stefanski.
Okay.
I mean, not that.
But he can't be coach of the year?
Not that there are certain things, not that there are certain processes that couldn't be a little bit better, not that everything is perfect. But can you imagine Freddie Kitchens running this? And no offense to Freddie Kitchens, great guy, but can you imagine Freddie Kitchens running these last 4 years? I mean, think about how level and even Kevin Stefanski is and how he doesn't ride the roller coaster. And the last 4 years have been nothing but a roller coaster. Yes, 100%. I think this is someone who deserves an extension and should continue to coach this team.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that seems obvious. I agree with you. I'm leaning towards that. But there's still a long season to go. And I agree with Tyvis, he's in the conversation. But right now, there are people that are clearly ahead of him.
Who?
Well, you got to start. I wasn't a big fan when he first, but you got to start with Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
But you knew that coming in, though.
Well, no, I'll tell you, Harbaugh should be considered too. No, a lot of people were picking the Ravens to finish last in the North.
I think
And you know
they
why,
were the best team
Harbaugh?
in
You know
football.
why? Here's a great statement about John Harbaugh is that he is not afraid to make a change when necessary to get the most out of his players. And you look at the hiring of Todd Monken, and right now the hottest thing in the NFL is to hire somebody from that Mike Shanahan tree. Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, Bobby Slowick in Houston, all of these guys come out of that tree, right? And John Harbaugh sat there and he thought, you know what? I've got a quarterback who's not a system quarterback. I don't want to put him in a system, in a box. I need to go find somebody who has run different offenses, who can think outside the box. And he goes and gets Todd Monken, who also is not anybody that he has a personal relationship with. In fact, the way he got Todd Monken, I don't even know if I told you guys this story, but so Todd Monken was at Georgia when Tom Crean was the men's basketball coach at Georgia. Tom Crean, of course, is John Harbaugh's brother-in-law. John Harbaugh calls his sister, Joni, and says, hey, do you know Todd Monken's wife? Do you think you could call her and see if he'd be interested in talking to me about my offensive coordinator job? This is not like, let me go find my friend, let me go give my buddy a job. He really scoured, who should I talk to? He also interviewed a bunch of people. I know at least 3 other people that he interviewed. I think about the city of Pittsburgh, where the search for an offensive coordinator the last 2 times has been completely different, as in there's been no search at all. And there's not necessarily been getting someone that can best match your players. John Harbaugh went and he did that. When John Harbaugh had to get a new defensive coordinator, he found a bright young man and young mind and look at how this defense is working. I'm so bullish on John Harbaugh, and I think the way that they're playing right now, what he's getting out of Lamar Jackson, and how they're sort of flying under the radar. You know, we don't even talk about them in the AFC as much as we should. Yes, I'm a big John Harbaugh fan, but I also think that the Browns have a really, really good chance this weekend to make some noise.
I think the reason to me that the Ravens, and you know, I think right now they're the best team in the AFC right now at this moment. But the reason I think they're not getting a lot of hype is because Lamar has fallen on his face in the playoffs every time to this point. So he's got a lot to prove in the playoffs. I mean, same thing with Watson. Deshaun Watson's never done anything in the playoffs either. So you're always going to lean towards, at this point, more hype for certainly Patrick Mahomes or even Joe Burrow the way they've played the last few weeks, because those guys have won big games in the playoffs where Lamar hasn't.
I mean, sure, but each year is a new year, and it's a new chance to do that, and you don't win in the playoffs until you do, right? True. I mean, so I'm unwilling to say, they'll never win in the playoffs because it hasn't happened yet. I mean, he's been unhealthy. He hasn't been healthy the last 2 years. I don't know that that's a fair it just feels like a lifetime ago at this point. You know, when they were a top seed and Tennessee comes in and Tennessee wins there, it just, again, feels like a lifetime ago. Lamar's rookie year, when he led them on that rampant run through the second half of the season, and then the Chargers, it was the Chargers, right? Came in and won. It feels like such a long time ago. I didn't have a second baby for either of those games. One of them I did, actually. But one of them, I only had one child. Like, that's a lifetime ago.
That's true.
Let me ask you a big picture question, Aditi. I was kind of tossing, turning, tumbling this in my head. So if say for instance you got your boy Deshaun Watson, he throws for 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, leads a nice solid drive to give the Browns the lead. They come back down. Lamar Jackson just makes some plays on the defense. Justin Tucker kicks a field goal. They lose by 1 point. Do you think Browns fans would be okay with a close loss to this Ravens team if they're seeing progress from Deshaun Watson?
I think they should be. I mean, think about it. A division game is always unbelievably difficult. And look, we know it's not about participation trophies, and almost win counts for nothing in the standings other than an L. I get all of that. But you want to see good play. You want to see competitiveness. Think about all those years ago that, was it a Monday night game, that Ravens-Browns classic? Was that Monday night or Thursday night? Why can I not remember? But that crazy classic, you know what I'm talking about.
When we got a
Somebody
field goal
help them.
blocked and they took it back?
Yeah.
That was
that
Monday.
it? No, it was like the back and forth, and then Lamar hits Willie Snead and Mark Andrews late. With the Lamar game where he had to go to the bath.
Oh, that was with Baker Mayfield.
I can't remember if that was a Monday or a Thursday.
It was a Monday or a Thursday.
I think it was a
can't
Thursday night game. That was a Thursday night game.
Yeah, I think it was a Thursday night game, actually.
Yeah.
You're right. Instant classic. You know, like, that's what you expect out of these division games. For years and years and years, Steelers-Ravens they've been basketball games. It doesn't matter what happens. It all comes down to the last 5 minutes. And so you can't be a rival. You can't be a player in the division until you play games like that. I think every fan should want to win every game. And again, like I said, it's not about a participation trophy, but you also have to be somewhat reasonable and say, are we playing well? Are we playing in a way that we can make a run?
Aditi, I know you're a huge John Harbaugh fan, but I want you to know that his brother is a cheater. Go Bucks.
What is going on there?
If you had to, but going back to,
wait a minute, aren't they now trying to say that Ohio State and Rutgers and somebody else all
That's what
engaged in-
cheaters do. Blame other people.
no, what they said was they were saying that Purdue did this same thing. So if you're gonna punish us,
And
make sure
Ohio
you punish
State
Purdue.
and Rutgers.
And Ohio State is sharing notes with Purdue and stuff like that.
That's totally different than
Yeah.
this.
Anyways, that's neither here nor there. They're cheaters. Anyway, we talk about the NFL. If you
I
had
have no dog in this fight.
if you had to pick a defense for the rest of this season, which one you taking, Baltimore or the Browns?
I'm taking the Browns.
Smart.
I really, really like that defense on all 3 levels. I like that they're not ever trying to get too cute. I like how fast they're playing. That front is so insanely disruptive. But then you look at that back end and the way that they are able to play man and how much they play man. And I love those linebackers. I mean, you were talking about that earlier. You were talking about JOK and could he be a joker? I mean, JOK has bulked up a little bit, to try to hit that line of being more available, being more durable, but he's still so fast. I mean, he's so fast. And Anthony Walker is just one of my favorite people. So, of course I root for him. I don't know. I really, really like that defense. Jim Schwartz scares me, just in case you were wondering. He does indeed scare me. But I like that defense.
By the way, Aditi, can we just talk for a minute about how frustrating it is? Kenny Pickett and the offense is trash, and they find a way to freaking win almost every week. It drives me nuts. He stinks. I said he stunk. Everybody was hyping him up going into the season. He's continued to be terrible. He made a couple.
He leads fourth quarter drive. Hey, he's got three comeback game-winning fourth quarter drives this year. That's hard to argue with. Now, you could sit here and say, why are they in that position? Why don't they do anything in quarters 1 through 3?
Because he's
But
not
it
any
doesn't
good.
matter because they end up with the W's. Well, this is why Mike Tomlin is so complicated. Because in so many ways, his teams are resilient and they fight and you can never count them out. I think I called them cockroaches on the radio. They never die. They never, ever, ever die. The flip side is they are in this position because of some of his decision making, like his continuing to run this offense, whatever it is, and some of the personnel stuff. And, but they are a very, very, very well-coached team. Mike Tomlin is very good at getting the most out of all of his players, at motivating different personalities in the necessary different ways, and they win. And I'm sorry that it's annoying to you.
It is very annoying because they don't deserve it because their quarterback stinks.
Well, I
He
don't know about
has
that.
small
Hey,
hands.
And I'm sick of hearing about these fourth quarter wins. Good teams don't have to come back in the fourth quarter because they're winning already.
Big Kenny Pickett person.
What's that?
I think Kenny Pickett would be so helped by being in a different offense.
He has small
His
hands.
growth and his development.
You know what they say about guys with small hands, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Nothing. I'm out of
I
control.
said he has.
You're actually lucky you didn't hear that.
He has small
right.
hands, Aditi.
You know what? He has these double jointed thumbs and they're like very weird. That's why it measures small. The actual hand is not that small. Really?
This is classified information that I'm glad that we are friends that I know.
I'm not going to talk about another man's hands, though.
He said that they're double jointed.
No.
All
Yeah,
right, Dee.
just look. You can find a picture, Tyvis. You can find a picture online. He's got these very weird double jointed thumbs. So, like, however they do that measurement,
Yeah, thumb to point.
thumb is like double jointed, however a double jointed thumb looks. So it like measures funky because the thumb isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Who's winning?
But it actually grips the football. I've been told that it grips the football better because of that double jointedness.
All right, we're going to make you make predictions to end it.
I never
Steelers
do.
predictions. Steelers are playing. I forgot who they're playing.
The Packers.
Steelers Packers. Who you got?
I don't know. I hate predictions. I don't want to be in the business of this. Sorry. I can't be in the business.
Steelers.
Steelers.
You really
It's at
don't want to
home.
make
It's in
predictions?
Yeah, I don't like predictions.
All right, I won't make you make predictions. I don't want to put you in a tough spot.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. If you don't want to make predictions, you don't want to put it out on the line. There you go. Leave it to me since I'm leading.
No,
the
because
picks.
then you know what? People bet money based on what I say, and then they come after me and say, "Oh, I
their
lost
problem.
this money." And it's like, you know what? Don't do that. Don't
All
do
right, no
that.
predictions from Aditi. All right, have a good weekend. We'll see. What game do you
Thanks,
have this
guys.
weekend? Do you have a game?
I don't have a game this week.
And that's a bad move by CBS. We'll see you later. Good night. Good night. Good night. It's the morning.
You just
so,
messed
early
up.
afternoon.
You messed up today.
You making people go to
Yeah, I'm a
sleep.
little messed up in the head right now. I got thrown off by lack of prediction. I don't understand.
Hey.
I love Aditi. I want her to give predictions. She don't want to do it. I don't.
You
put her
never
on the
want to
spot.
hear the words from a woman. I'm uncomfortable. You never want to hear that.
True. Don't want to hear that. All right.
my
Speaking of
goodness.
uncomfortable women, let's go to Mike across the street.
Well, let's hope a little game of No Fence Riders can bring Bull back into his good wits. Before we get to
was
No
quick.
Fence Riders, it's time to remind the people of the world that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. It is unquestioned, undeniable, unquestionable. It's FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time than right now to get in on the action. The app truly is so easy to use, and they have everything you can imagine betting on, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Guys, we have a couple No Fence Rider questions to get to,
Okay.
and only one of them is not a damn near even split. So this should be fun, and we got Bernie coming up in 20 minutes, so we'll mosey on through these pretty quick. Let's start with the first one. Steve, are you ready?
Why you got to rush us on this?
Well, either kicker.
We don't need to rush. Let's take it down a notch.
Okay.
Keep it calm right now. You're a little too worked up at the moment.
No, I think we got
Let's make it
7. I just want to
sensual.
make sure we give each one the appropriate time.
By the way,
before
I
Bernie
think we
gets in
need to
here.
get a chalkboard where we can keep track of all the pauses during a show.
What we
But
got
Zadini's always good for 2 or 3 points.
we got in trouble for that. We're not supposed to count them. We're not
we
supposed
should
to say
count.
that.
We should. We got to bring it back. Go ahead. Number 1, Mike. Sorry.
Number 1, will a kicker in this game, either kicker, Dustin Hopkins or Justin Tucker, miss a kick on Sunday? It can be an extra point or a field goal. This was a 4-3 split. 3 people said yes. Myself, G, and J do believe there'll be a missed kick, while the rest of you guys, the angry side of the fence, says no.
That's true. All the angry people.
Why would you say yes?
Hopkins is gonna miss a kick. Don't stop playing around, bro.
He already did. He was due for one and he missed it last
I know
week.
he hit way too many in a row at Cleveland. Way too many, right down the middle.
But it's in Baltimore.
I know, and now it's on the road, and it's a big game. He's gonna miss like a 46-yarder, but he's gonna go 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
I have faith in him right now. I
If
know he missed
anybody
one
go,
last week,
if
but-
anybody gonna miss, is Justin Tucker, because they're gonna try to make him kick a 62-yarder and he gonna miss
Right.
it.
I ain't seen Justin Tucker miss ever against the Browns.
I seen him miss a field goal.
I have not. Listen,
Yeah, what is Justin Tucker's career stats against the Browns?
I ain't heard it, man. Sheesh.
That would be interesting. That's an interesting stat.
All right, give us the next one there, Mike.
Justin Tucker versus the Browns in 23 career games is 40 for 48 and 52 for 53 on extra points. So he has missed 9 kicks against the Browns.
So out of what percentage is that?
83%.
That's not for him. That's
But
not good.
But in his first 3 games against the Browns, he missed 4 kicks.
There it is. That's the first season.
So
Since
in
then-
essentially the last 19 games, he's missed 4 kicks.
But that's still more than you would have thought from him.
That's still crazy. That's a lot of kids.
And G. Bush, if you remember last year,
He missed one, right?
he missed 2.
Yeah.
That's
So there was a stretch where he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6
6,
years.
7,
He
8,
missed
9,
none.
10. He went 10 games in a row without missing a kick. Essentially sandwiched. Bad start, 8 straight no misses, 1 miss. He was 4 for 3, then 10 straight without missing before
He
last
said
year.
4
So
for 3, by the way. All right, next one.
next one. Will Elijah Moore have more receiving yards than OBJ in this game? Myself,
Both these guys
G,
are not him.
Tyvis, and Earl
Yeah.
all said yes, Bull. You don't think so?
Shame on you.
I mean, both these guys are not any good.
Out of pocket.
I'm out of pocket.
Yeah. Yes. You had
What's Elijah Moore's most yards this year?
20.
59.
Oh,
69?
59.
Oh.
59.
Nah.
You sick, boy.
I am out of
You
pocket.
sick.
Earl is right. I'm out of pocket right now.
Children.
So, G, you said yes.
It's out of
You're with
control.
me on this one. Why do you think Moore has a bigger game than OBJ?
Oh, I don't think he's a big. I mean, they both stink.
But you don't think Elijah Moore
I
had
think
more yards?
I think Odell's gonna have 17 yards and Elijah Moore's gonna have 12.
It's funny.
What do you think? There's gonna be a lot of passing yards in this game?
I think. Listen, I think it may be like a 45 to 37 type
You
game.
think so?
I think
Shockingly?
40, 45.
We talking about points or yards?
We talk about yards.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought you were saying
I thought you
points.
talking
I'm
about
like,
points. I
Like
was gonna
it's
say so.
40, 45. He caught one of them crossing routes, and that's about it.
Which side of this were you on?
Tyvis said yes.
I have no choice.
Oh, because he's your guy.
Yeah, I have no choice in this.
Elijah Moore is like a
Elijah Moore gonna
he's-
have a game.
He's like a payday loan. You just regret it.
No, this
Like
the thing. This the
week
thing.
after week, you just keep going back to pay them.
Elijah Moore's a
G,
timeshare.
He been fooling you. He been fooling y'all. He don't want to be on the scouting report.
Really?
He didn't want to be on the scouting report for big games like this.
My
See, they not
Lord.
gonna pay him no attention, and he gonna go crazy.
We just every week we just keep going.
I'm reaching, ain't
Going back to
yeah.
cash advance. But I only borrowed 600. Why I owe you 300 every week?
He gotta make me look right at some point in this season. Like, the man is overdue.
I keep asking.
You way
myself-
overdue.
I keep asking, when is it gonna show up? It just never.
G, Bull, you told me last week I gave too much away in a tease.
Yeah.
This is how quickly I learn. And G, there is one of my 5 stats tomorrow that is going to make anyone who said no to this question change their mind. This is my lock of the century. Elijah Moore, more yards than OBJ. And there's a stat tomorrow in the McNuggets 5 stats segment that will make you believe that I'm the smartest man in the world for making a lock on this.
That we're
Bet.
wrong for saying no.
No, you said no, so yes, you're wrong. But G and Tyvis are on the right side of history. I'll make them feel better about their pick.
Okay. I
And
like
you will
that
feel
tease.
silly.
I like that tease. All right,
All right, next one. This did happen in week 1. Will it happen again? Or first matchup, week 4. Will Lamar Jackson have more rushing yards than Jerome Ford? Yes or no? This was not a 4-3 split. This was a 5-2 split. Tyvis, you and Jay said no. You're believing in Jerome Ford will have more rushing yards than Lamar Jackson.
I do.
The rest of us all said yes.
I do, because the Browns is going to really try to get him involved. They're going to give him like 22, 23 carries, and I'm figuring at some point after Deshaun dices up, gets some couple of completions, they'll be a little lax, and he'll get a seam. I ain't saying it's going to be much. I mean, Lamar had how many rushing yards in the first game? Like
29.
20? Yeah.
You think they can hold him to 29 in this one?
Yes. They're going to have a game. Listen, Lamar Jackson is not going to be the reason. As far as running.
I just feel like if you're going to have success running, to me, it's a guy like Kareem Hunt that's going to have the game.
Yeah.
This sideways nonsense, Jerome Ford, you're going to get killed by the Ravens.
Listen, Lamar had how many yards? 29. He just need 30.
Hey, bro, he run like
he just need 30 yards.
He runs like Devin Hester under center. Like, you can't.
I still want Pierre in there, but we ain't even going to do that.
Jerome Ford had 26 in the first matchup, Tyvis, just so you know.
And remember, Lamar didn't run as much. He might have run more had the game been in doubt. But the Browns were getting crushed, so they were probably stopped calling any runs.
I think Jerome Ford. I'm almost tired of seeing him get carries.
Now Pierre Strong's banged up, so that's the one thing making me hesitate a little bit. But
he be tiptoeing and he looked like a ballerina out there, man.
If you try to get outside against the Ravens, forget it.
Jerome Ford has the longest run of the year for the Cleveland Browns.
We don't care nothing about that.
Yeah, and then he's averaging 2 yards a carry besides that.
Elijah Moore has the most yards on.
Whose fault is that? Is it him or the offensive line?
Elijah Moore has the most yards on reverses. Don't nobody care.
Listen, Lamar had 29. He can get 30.
Have we heard about Draymond Jones?
Draymond Jones.
DeJuan Jones? We have not seen his practice report yet. He did not practice yesterday. Joel Bitonio did speak in the locker room this morning.
Yeah.
And he was asked, what will be the offensive line alignment versus Baltimore? And he said, we're going to have to see how practice goes today and tomorrow. Not even he's sure at this point how their offensive line will be aligned.
You're saying DeJuan Jones didn't practice again today?
They haven't practiced yet. They're speaking to the media.
Oh, yeah, it's early still.
So, yeah, that has not been released. As soon as that is, we will let you guys know. But that is something we are monitoring very close. Let's move on to the next one.
All right.
Will Browns receivers, excluding Amari Cooper and Njoku, so that means all other wide receivers, all other tight ends, combined for 55 receiving yards versus Baltimore. This is a 4-3 split here. G, Tyvis, Jay, and Earl said yes. Myself, Bull, and Jason said no.
Well, anybody that said yes for Elijah Moore should have said yes for this.
Exactly.
I don't trust anyone outside of Elijah Moore in this game, for the record.
Exactly.
Buying Elijah Moore stock.
I mean, so how many yards do you think Elijah Moore is going to get in this game?
I think he's got 35, 40.
60.
All right. I mean, if you think he's going to get, what was the number there total?
55.
Because who else is getting anything?
That's why I went under and still over.
And
also, Tyvis is dead.
And you know,
Harrison Bryant's going to get 1 yard.
This is how bad you done got. This is how bad you done got. The people is laughing about your total yardage, and you really trying hard. Like, you going to practice and doing stuff.
But that's the thing, though.
And y'all saying, like, y'all clowning him over 40, 50 yards.
It's not fair to Elijah Moore because
he's crying. You have liquid on your face. There was liquid coming down your cheeks.
It's not fair to Elijah Moore because he could have had games with more than 50 yards. If P.J. Walker would have hit him,
Amari Cooper did.
He skipped the ball off the ground to the man. He was
this
open.
Is crazy. The slander is crazy, bro. You got to do something, man. You got to do something. You got to go up and tell the quarterback, throw you the ball, bro. Catch it.
I think they got a shot because of Watson. If he progresses from last week, then I just think it's going to be hard to score for both teams.
We're going to see training camp Elijah Moore.
I think it's going to be a really low-scoring game.
Training camp Elijah Moore.
Yeah?
That's him. That's what we're going to see on
Sunday. All right, next up, boldest leads right into what you just said.
Yeah.
Will Deshaun Watson account for more touchdowns than turnovers versus Baltimore? This was the only one that wasn't a damn near split.
Yeah.
Jay is on the fence by himself here.
Yeah.
Jay said no. Everyone else
He's
said more
sick.
touchdowns than
Well,
turnovers.
Jay is more down on Deshaun than anybody else, which is not unfair.
He's
but
sick.
He's the most down on him. I got Deshaun 1 touchdown, no turnovers, because I got a low-scoring game, very low-scoring.
I had 2 and 1.
Look, man, this is the game you got to do it. I know it's a lot. People put a lot on your plate. This is the game you got to. If you want to come out and be a dude that the city loves, and you got to show that you can put the cape on and play good against great competition.
Lamar did it out the bathroom.
Yeah, you're right.
Walked right out, right off the bathroom, probably didn't even wash his hands. Touchdown.
Well, I mean, why would you wash your hands? You're playing football. They're just going to
Hey,
get gross
come
again.
on, man. Come on. Get some.
That's disgusting,
Get some
boy.
sanitizer.
You
Y'all
are
dudes,
sick.
man. These guys man, y'all cats is wild.
I got Deshaun with 2. One rushing,
This
one
whole
pass.
show is out of pocket.
has
The
has
whole
been a very
show is out of pocket.
Yeah, y'all on a Thursday? This is how y'all doing on
We are
Thursday?
completely out of
Thirsty
pocket.
Thursday.
It's crazy.
Ladies' night, too.
Oh, man.
Working
All right.
Women's Wednesday.
What's next, Mike?
Tyvis came in hot today, and he is not cooled off
Just-
since.
wow.
All right, next up, we have 2 left. We're going to read some Super Chats. We're going to bring in our guy, Bernie Kosar, who's sitting backstage with us. Will any Ravens running back, any Baltimore running back, have more than 60 rushing yards against the Browns defense? In the first matchup, no running back had more than 50 yards. So I'm saying in this one, will any running back have 60? It's a pretty even split here. Tyvis, Jay, Earl, and myself said yes. Bull, Jason, and G with the double thumbs down. I'll say no.
That's because Lamar Jackson gonna have about 60.
No, that's because
70.
the running back gonna get 60 because Lamar is not. I'm telling you, Jim Schwartz is gonna say Lamar is not beating us in the run game. He had 2 touchdowns. He's not beating us in the run game.
I hope.
And they gonna misfit a gap, and one of them running backs gonna gash him for a good 20-yard gain, and the rest of it gonna be nickel and diamond for the rest of the game. But I think the Browns do win the game overall.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Eagle front. I wouldn't mind seeing 2-3 techniques in the nose.
You gonna just eat up all the inside gaps?
Yeah, good luck.
We are the wide 9. Just
yeah, I know.
so you know.
Yeah, I know.
So-
we need to stick a little gap in there somewhere.
Is Zach Moss the only running back that's had more than 60 yards against the Browns?
I think Jonathan Taylor did.
Taylor.
I know
I
Jonathan
thought it
Taylor
was Zach
did.
Moss in that game, not Taylor.
Probably
Taylor
was,
was
No,
getting
Taylor killed the Browns.
Taylor was getting
Oh, was
juicy.
Taylor not? Or
probably
did both get
Gardner.
over 60?
It was
I don't know.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, so is Taylor the only one?
Taylor had 75. Moss had 57.
Okay.
Let's go through the rest of the games real
Can't
quick.
remember anybody else getting over 60 yards.
Can't believe he did a
McCaffrey,
Moulin
I don't think he had
Rouge, bro.
60.
No, 'cause he got
That's
hurt.
Eddie
He had
Guerrero.
43.
That's the Eddie
He only played
Guerrero.
a half.
Latino Heat. Orale.
Yeah, the only one that go over 60.
So Jonathan
Jonathan
Taylor's
Taylor.
the only back that's gone over 60. And that was the Browns' worst performance defensively was that Colts game. They were lousy in that game. And the Colts have a really good running game. The Ravens'
What did
backs
the-
are decent, but none of them are that good.
So what did the Ravens running back have in the game? The first
They
game.
didn't have a big game.
48.
48 was the highest. Who was that? Gus.
Gus, correct.
Get on the
They
bus.
hitting their stride. We could get 12 more yards. I don't think they're gonna win.
All right. Last one, Mike.
Last one. Kareem Hunt is leading the NFL, or I guess has the longest current streak in the NFL with 4 straight games with a rushing touchdown. Will he get number 5 in a row?
The
this
longest streak
Sunday?
in the What happened? McCaffrey lost his streak?
Well, he has receiving. He scored a touchdown, not necessarily rushing.
Wow.
But yeah, Kareem Hunt, the longest
Man, if
current streak.
If you asked this trivia question to non-Browns fans, even a lot of Browns fans probably wouldn't have gotten that.
Hey man,
You would never have guessed that because he hasn't done that much, but he's had.
He scores touchdowns. That's what he does.
This should be, and I've been well. At least I give Bull credit. Bull was saying, lot of our brethren is like, oh, Kareem Hunt's washed.
Listen,
Listen,
he said
Kareem-
he's on three
He on
wheels.
3 wheels. Listen, Kareem Hunt. This is a Kareem Hunt football game. You need to establish something. You got the big bad Ravens coming into town. They playing at home. You gonna need to have somebody running physically.
That's right.
You don't need guys running backwards and looking scared like they need to go call their mom because the bully down the street beat them up. You need to do is go get the ball and run hard for 3 yards and understand that, hey, I'm going to be back here doing it again and again and again. All this cute stuff, this is a Kareem Hunt football game. I hope Kevin Stefanski, he said he was running the football. Don't you give what's the name no 20 carries.
I hope not. Jerome Ford.
This ain't no Jerome Ford type no ball game, bro.
Yeah, you need that mean.
No. Listen,
You need
wait
that
a
mean
minute.
running with attitude.
Wait a minute.
No.
Kevin, don't listen to them. Please give Jerome Ford so I could be right on fence riders. Please give Jerome Ford the ball.
This guy
So
worry
this
about
fence
his
rider
fist
question
rushes.
was Kareem Hunt. It was will he score a rushing touchdown in his 5th straight game? A pretty even split. Jason, G, Tyvis, and Earl all said yes. Bull, me, you, and Jay don't believe it'll happen.
This is goal line Nick Chubb.
I'm about to say,
this
y'all know he gon'
You
y'all
know.
saying they ain't gonna get to the 1 yard line?
if he get anywhere in the
I
team,
think
out of
I
pocket.
screwed that one up. I think I meant to say yes on that one.
he want to change his answer. on that
Look,
one.
tell you,
I think
too late. Graphic been made.
I'll tell you what I thought at least. G. Bush, you know as well as anybody, Kevin Stefanski loves a little play action on the goal line. And if
He
there
d-
was ever a time with a quarterback now who's capable of making some of the throws required to score on those tight window situations, it is Deshaun Watson as opposed to who the Browns have had back there before. I think
Or maybe
the
the Browns do a
decoy
tush push.
or the tush push, but I think Kareem Hunt has been so effective down there. This is the week. He's the decoy, and someone else gets that goal.
Well, look, this is coming. I just want to let y'all know that the tendency breakers, they've had Nick Harris on a bunch of stuff, tight end, fullback. Nick Harris is going to, get out in the
catch it
flat. He's going to catch a touchdown.
Fast to the flats.
No, it's going to be in the flats. It's going to be a corner end zone.
Do you think he can catch?
Yeah, he good. All right, you ready?
Who's going to have more touchdowns this year, Nick Harris or Elijah Moore?
Damn,
Stop doing that. Stop. Elijah about to go crazy one of these games.
we need it.
Who's going to have more touchdowns this year, me or Cedric Tillman?
Dang. Cedric Tillman.
That's funny because it really is that hard to think.
Yeah, because Cedric Tillman played like 96 snaps, and people talk about maybe DPJ got
You know
traded.
what?
No,
Cedric Tillman, because it's going to be a point where you have to justify trading DPJ, keeping him,
Yeah.
and drafting him in the 3rd round. You got to get him in the end zone at least once.
I'm going to give you a bold prediction right now. You heard it here first. Cedric Tillman, 2nd on the Browns in receiving yards this week.
This week.
That's going to be wrong, but I
It's
appreciate
probably
the
going to be
boldness.
wrong, but if it's right,
That's a bold.
then I came out with a good bold prediction. If I'm wrong, who cares?
and you need to go. You need to get on FanDuel and
There's no
dial
downside
that
to
up.
that prediction.
You
Hey,
need
bro,
to dial that up.
Earl has a bold prediction too.
Yeah.
Hey, Bull, I'll match your bold prediction with a bigger one.
Yeah.
I think Cedric Tillman will only have 2 catches, but one of them will be for a touchdown.
All
I
right.
like that. We'll see.
Jump
We're
ball
going to read some super
situation.
chats, and then we're going to bring in our resident legendary Browns quarterback. That is Bernie Kosar, who's going to hop in 1 sec. But first, super chats, and whenever we read super chats, they're brought to us by our dear friends at PCC Airfoils. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. We only got a couple super chats today, which is A-OK. The first one comes from Young Majestic, who says, my doctor prescribed me semaglutide. Is
Yeah.
that what you mentioned earlier, Bull?
Yeah.
Semaglutide? He can't wait to try it.
Yeah.
Charles T. said Stefanski 100% should get extended. He's 4th in wins in Browns history, 4 games behind Belichick, and
Is
12
that
behind
real?
Marty. He has stabilized the Browns through COVID, Baker, OBJ, Watson, PJ, Chubb injury, JW, and Jimmy. Professor Chaos.
By the way, him being where he stands in the Browns pantheon is irrelevant. The Browns have had one terrible coach after the next. So that's not a reason to do it. I agree with the rest of it, but go ahead.
Next one comes from Professor Chaos. He said Michigan is trying to dry snitch on the rest of the Big Ten. Big facts. Two
Didn't
more
the rest
real
of the Big
quick.
Ten originally dry snitch on them?
I don't think they dry. I think they just
They
flat
wet
out.
snitched?
Yes.
If that's what you want to call
Water
it.
hose.
All right, pause, Mike. Go ahead.
Two more. Charles T. says people were screaming to go get Sean Payton and Josh McDaniels to replace Stefanski. What a mess in Denver and Vegas right now. And our guy Daryl says the Jim Schwarzenegger defense, they beat the Ravens 37-20 on Sunday.
The Jim
37-20.
Schwartz.
I'll be shocked.
That's
if
a lot
the
of
final score of
points.
This game is 37.
37.
Nobody was screaming for Sean Payton at the time. Sean Payton was coaching the Saints, so I don't know what he's talking about. People were screaming for Josh McDaniels. I was not one of those people.
Because
for the
isn't he from Canton?
Yeah.
That's why.
But unfortunately, he's not a very good coach.
No, he's
Bernie Kosar was a great quarterback, and he's with us now. Bernie,
What up,
how you
Bert?
doing? Good to see you.
burn in.
Yeah, it's good to be here on a victory here, being
Yeah.
5-3.
Bernie, we're a little disappointed because a couple of weeks ago you were with Taylor Swift, and now we expect you to be with another famous celebrity besides yourself every week.
Oh, wow.
Is that not going to keep up?
Tyvis, man, you don't qualify? You know, it's actually like I went to the production meeting, and because I wanted to mention today with Veterans Day, this Saturday, November 11th, I'm just coming from Travis Mills. The Travis Mills Foundation, and his friend and partner, Chris Miller. But Travis Mills is one of 5 guys that is living who stepped on an IED as a combat vet over in Iraq and stuff, and is here to live and talk about it. So a lot of the stuff I do health and wellness wise with my You Matter, a lot of times when you guys have heard me kind of complain and talk about some of the surgeries and some of the things and TBI that's maybe going on up there, man, hanging with Travis Mills and what he's gone through in his positive spirit and his happiness, and for a guy that's had all 4 of his extremities blown off by stepping on an IED, and to still be here and be so awesomely positive. So I spent the morning with him. I'll see him again all tomorrow and stuff. So to me, he's as big as Taylor Swift was awesome how she handled it, but what Travis does on a daily basis, and God, he was there early before me today, and I know what he has to go through to get through his start his day. And the other guy was sitting there with Chris Miller from outside of Ravenna and stuff, and he has the foundation Dogs for Our Brave. And Chris talks cavalierly like, well, when I was serving, I was stabbed once, I was shot twice, I fell off a 50-foot cliff, I was paralyzed from the neck down for a couple of years, and now I'm capable of walking and stuff. I mean, I'm coming here trying to pretend I'm cool. I had tears in my eyes all morning seeing how awesome these guys are and what they're doing.
And way too many of our greedy politicians out there do a terrible job of taking care of our veterans. They are not treated well enough. The Veterans Affairs, all that, it's a whole big mess. They have to go through so much rigmarole to get help, to get benefits. These people are laying their lives on the line to protect us, to protect this country, and we don't take care of them well enough. It's despicable.
Wow, Bolt, like what you're saying right there and what we have to talk about on the side, with Chris and with Travis, and, they could get 1,000 milligrams of OxyContin and a massive pain pump put in their stomach that will accelerate the deaths and the issues inside. We have 22 veterans every day that are committing suicide right now. We could get medication out our backside. You're so spot on, and some of this is not a shameless way to transition into what I'm doing, but some of the stuff that holistically that I'm doing that isn't covered by stuff like that for our veterans, these guys need this help. So it's imperative to stay aware on these type issues.
Well, let's transition to the Ravens. What do you see? What's a weakness on that defense that you think Kevin Stefanski can exploit and help them win on Sunday?
So one of the weaknesses, unfortunately, on the Ravens defense is that they are really playing good. Okay, it's a good defense right now, from the top, middle, and bottom. I mean, the pass rush is there. We don't want to be here in Cleveland that Davian Clowney is making an influence over there with them. They're putting good pressure on it, and they're covering on the back end of it. As much as I was nervous for Deshaun playing last week, okay, I'm still nervous that we're not out of the woods with the shoulder. We still have to get through. We're basically halfway through the season, so we want him really to be 95% throwing velocity in hopefully a playoff game in January or a playoff stretch run and stuff with that. We got really blessed last week playing Arizona and in a beautiful weathered game, okay, no wind, which is an anomaly. We're supposed to get that again in Baltimore on this Sunday. I think with the great defense they have, with some of the uncertainties that we're having in the running game with and with the O-line being out, and now Deshaun getting a little bit of confidence under his belt by playing against Arizona, and the weather being nice, we're going to need the passing game and that play action game, because unfortunately I don't see flaws in the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
And do you?
No, they pretty solid all the way around.
Yeah.
I mean, Marlon Humphrey still is really good. Geno Stone, if you put it up there and you were near him, he can come take it. So, and they really.
Yeah, and
Did I
hey,
say
so
that?
let me
Was
ask
that
you this
bad?
from the DB perspective. So, and this was what caused me into retirement, and I'd like to say this in levity, but the deteriorating arm and the inability to scare you on a Thursday today that I'm practicing bombs and I could throw it over your head.
Yeah.
As opposed to today on Thursday, I'm playing Bernie and his arms are a little raggedy and his skills are diminishing and he really isn't a massive threat to throw it over your head. Marlon Humphreys loves to squat anyways.
Yes.
Even on strong arm cues. Do you see them inherently wanting to squat a little more on Deshaun with the rotator?
I don't think so, because of the bomb that he threw at the end of the game to Cooper and the way that the velocity, the zip on it. I think they're like, nah, he's good to go. And if it is, it's something that you would test early on in the game. But the way Deshaun looked last week when he threw the deep ball to Marquise Goodwin, it lets you know that it's still there. So I wouldn't do that necessarily.
So as a DB, you thought those two throws showed?
Oh yeah,
showed
those two throws.
velocity
I was
and
like, yeah, he good, he good. I'm not going. I wouldn't squat or play underneath the routes, because I think though he got a lot of zip and he can still push that ball out there.
Bernie, let me ask you this question. I was watching. I was in the time machine. I was about 87, 88, and I keep watching these games. And one of the things that y'all used to run, they don't run it no more like they used to. They used to run the delayed draw and used to run that to Ernest Biner. Yeah. And that thing would get you 12. I'm like, man, this is why it would open up. I'm like, wow, look, this is crazy. I'm looking at it like from a standpoint of, look, you got Deshaun Watson. We're really good in the screen game. Why don't they run that play anymore? And is that could that be a mix-up for an aggressive defense like the Ravens?
Yeah, God, I'm thinking of the Manning cast in Monday night, and I'm watching the Manning cast, and Peyton was talking about Zach Wilson and zone defense, and how even though I know I want to hit the check down, and I'm ultimately answering the question on that draw, but you want to get those backers to expand and get wide and then check down to the back because you get them in space. Almost the same principle on a delayed draw, like that I used to love that with Ernest. One of the things, though, we were more of a drop-back team, so teams were a little bit threatened of our drop-back game and stuff, because they weren't threatened of me and my inability to run and stuff. This year's Browns, one of the things I think we're struggling with is our third down conversions, and a lot of that I think is our drop-back game isn't really what it is, so they're not really threatened by it. So when Deshaun's play action and bootlegging and nakeds, that's gold because he's got the legs and we're running the ball good. But when he's just dropping back for that to get the backers to expand, they're not really worried about us in a drop-back game yet because we haven't really hurt anybody yet from that perspective of it. So that's where I actually think Coach Stefanski's okay in not going to that.
By the way, Bernie, I wanted to look it up because when you played, I mean, there weren't a lot of mobile quarterbacks when there weren't a lot of guys running around like there are now. Do you know offhand the most rushing yards you have in the season?
Well, I do know that I love in the NFL that you don't get negative yards for sacks. So in college, I had some astronomically negative numbers. So in the pros, I just know that I go with, I'm a 100-yard career rusher. I know that.
You have career 265 yards.
Okay, see, career though, I played 12 years. Okay,
your best season.
You don't want to do the math on less
Bernie's
than 20
best season running the ball. You want to guess what year it was?
89.
I do remember I ran one for a touchdown with a broken ankle.
You got five rushing touchdowns in your career. 91 You had 26 carries for 74 yards.
Yeah, I was winded at the end of that year. I need a new rehab program. That's what started this.
Isn't it amazing how it's changed? How even like not everybody's Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields, but like even a guy like Joe Burrow, like who's not really a running quarterback, he'll run. So many guys run now. It's crazy.
Yeah, the athleticism of the position is really pretty special. I mean, I say it as a joke. I really did run a 5.5 40. And that today, I mean, we look at Joe Burrow and how smooth he's running right now. Look at Daniel Brown with the Giants, okay? I know he's got the ACL, but pre that, I mean, he's a 4.9, 4.8 running guy. I mean, but we say those guys are unathletic.
Yeah,
I mean,
know.
Those guys are decathletes to me, okay?
When you look at, you were talking to Tyvis about how, Watson's deep throws. What did you think of his? Because to me, the first half was very shaky, and then he was better. And so it kind of made sense looking back that he did play against Arizona. Maybe he got some of the rust off there in that first half. Because if he had that against Baltimore, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, so revisionist history, absolutely love that he got the game in and that he was able to not get hit. And Coach Stefanski's play calling absolutely helped that happen. And then Coach Callahan, once again, with the line issues, still to have a really masterful line display with that. His timing was out. You could see as he got loose, okay, it looked like his arm got better, but some of the stuff with accuracy that we were concerned with. And it's tight, even though it was a beautiful day, it's still 50 degrees. You loosen up at 11 o'clock, 11:30, then you sit in the locker room for 45 minutes. Then you got to come out at 1:10, and you want to be perfectly accurate on your short throws. And he was off a little bit on those first ones. You're right, as the hit that 50-yarder, he started loosening up a little, and that does loosen your arm up a little when you're able to throw a few of those, because you really can't do those on the sidelines. So I'm glad he got that. I'm glad it's on film. I'm glad you said what you said, and I really should just check myself there. Not that Baltimore, but Ozzie does check these type things for mouthy type stuff. But his arm, and I was glad it was there, but you could tell it's not there.
Right.
And to be in a good position with a great protection, where you're able to step in and be in good position was it looked like he's close to 90-95%. I'd be nervous though under duress,
right,
and being able to get it more than 45 yards.
He seemed to struggle when he had to throw on the run or throw like across his body. When he was set in the pocket and had time and could get his feet under him, I think he did well.
That's what I'm trying to. I'm mumbling through it because I know what the answer is. I don't want to give it up. Yeah. But exactly, if you got your feet under you and they're not putting pressure on you,
right?
I mean, he could let it go. The cross the body and the involuntary twitches and the kind of giving out and stuff, the weakness and the ability to have sauce on the ball, it's absolutely compromised. For sure on the run.
Bernie, what can you do in a game? One of the things I respect.
And I'm sorry, and that's what leads to, I think he runs the ball more. And again, you don't like to have that on the camera just yet, because that's against that rush, and knowing, like against the Colts when you ran and you tried to make that throw that in your head you think you can make, comes up short, so you end up with a pick or a bad play. Now, because he's got the legs, I could see him running more, and I don't want Baltimore to know that.
One thing I most admire about your game is the fact that you were able to do things pre-snap and play some mind games with the defense and get your team in the best play. When you don't have your, he's not 100%, he's still working some of the rust off. Are there some things he can do mentally in order to get his team into some good plays rather than just leaning on the physical?
Yeah, great point. And yes, there's absolutely things you want to do. And he's smart. He's super smart enough now in the second year into this system to mentally be able to handle that. And again, I'm not Coach Callahan's marketing representative. Love, with the injuries and the rest that these guys are under, like how he keeps them playing that good and dominating an NFL team like that. But there's things that, you could do, and then there's things you could do at the line of scrimmage that on a noisy stadium like Baltimore with younger tackles could be an issue. So depending on crowd noise, boy, I'd love to be selfish here and have this game at home. Yeah. But the pre-snap and things you could do with helping check right now. Check chip with tight ends and the fullback. You guys were talking a couple segments ago on the Nick Harris and stuff. I think we saw 18 snaps with Nick Harris last week. At basically the glorified fullback position, not even the H position. So, you're able to kind of help out from those situations too.
Bernie, Joe Bitonio, I can't remember what year it was, but a few years ago, he slid over and played left tackle for a couple of games. Obviously, it's not ideal, but you think they'll consider doing that?
God, how about a shout out to Joel Bitonio?
I mean,
and I know he kind of lost that streak, and it was super quiet during it. But I don't know any inside information. And probably it's probably public information. I just didn't pay attention. But to have a scope surgery, and to be playing, 2 weeks later, and still to be playing, he looks great. He looks really good, but that didn't overly heal too. So to make that bounce out move now with guys, and again, not that it's easy at guard, but you're really on an island to tackle. And if his knee has to still be bothering him some. I mean, he's not going to complain. He's a tough guy.
What about if DeJuan Jones can't play, and you're down
oh my God,
2 starting tackles. He hasn't practiced. I mean, hopefully he'll practice today.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bill Callahan, you're right. I mean, Bill Callahan's as good as it gets, but at some point you come to a point where you just don't have the body.
Quick game.
Yeah, and that's right. I was with you on Marlon and the pass rush and Deshaun, and then knowing that, and they want to squat anyways.
Quick game. They ain't going deep unless you at Max Pro.
And hey, I may want to be positive and stuff too with it. So, but again, on the Bill Callahan love fest here, and again, how DeJuan Jones came out of nowhere and has played phenomenal this year. That we're actually massively disappointed that now he's not in.
Right, that's true.
A month ago, we were like, oh my God, who's DeJuan Jones?
Yeah.
But Hudson and stuff, I know people have been picking on him and stuff, but there were elements of him last year where we were saying, damn, okay, I'm okay with Hudson playing and stuff. So now we ain't seen him much lately. It's absolutely not optimal. Like, hell, we're going to Baltimore. Okay, nothing's optimal there. This is a premier Super Bowl contending team with Lamar Jackson having something to prove. So, this isn't the Arizona Cardinals game.
How important is? I always wanted to ask a quarterback. How important is footwork? And what do you think of Deshaun's footwork when he's throwing the ball?
So you're coming to a guy who had the worst footwork, and not by choice. I mean, I wanted to. I'm just physically, again, I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. I'm physically challenged, so physically how I would get into certain spots, I wanted to have good mechanics and stuff. But I say that but because Deshaun obviously has better athleticism and has better mechanics than me. But with confidence and belief in yourself, just like intelligence, comes your mechanics and footwork. And with the quarterback position, Deshaun's intelligence is absolutely there. But when you haven't played, like, last year we were talking, he came off of 700 days not playing, 11-game suspension. Now we're talking about the arm being hurt and not playing of it. So it's like, how do you have your sense of timing and sense of belief? And the mechanics, when you don't really sometimes believe or you're overthinking, your mechanics don't come along with it. And that's actually, I think, some part of maybe Deshaun's getting his confidence after those couple of hits.
Yeah.
He started feeling a little more comfortable and confident in himself, and then his footwork got better. When his footwork got better, his throws and his accuracy got better. So there is a correlation with that. Yeah.
I've always wondered this. You know, we see sometimes, Amari Cooper's getting the boat or the lion's share of the targets. When you guys were playing, what went into what the progression was? Did you guys see certain defenses and say, okay, we want the progression to be on this defense?
Yeah, my God, when they play 11 up like that, go, Amari, you're getting the rock. Like, don't even worry what the play call is. Webster, Slaughter, here it comes. Hey, you know it, DB, your D coordinator screwed you, man. You got problems right now, okay? It is coming. Yeah, it's amazing. And then for Amari to get that bomb, that was an 11 up. That was so beautiful to see that. Like, you aren't allowed to do that.
We ain't seen
You
that
are not
right
allowed to do that. Okay, that is a sign of disrespect. Okay, they stopped doing that to me, but year 10 in the league. It took me 2 years to figure it out. Okay, that is all day long. Yeah, and Amari's getting that. In today's NFL, you DBs are so nosy, you're creeping up, you're getting in the action and stuff, and then the reads don't matter. If Amari is your guy, and he's just consistently getting open, and the way and everybody knows they're throwing to him, but the way he's pressing technique and running routes, I feel like I'm working you as a DB here. Because, trying to get your hips turned and stuff. So if we could pick up a little bit against the Ravens here, and because Harlan's going to be squatting, they're going to be wanting to make the big play. Him getting those kind of double moves, the way he has patience with it, for sure. You can see how elevated I get here.
Yeah, he was listen, I'm throwing a touchdown right now myself.
Right now.
In my head.
It definitely comes down to the offensive line because, like he's saying, you showed the Baltimore Ravens defensive stat, they're first in sacks. So that means they thinking, both tackles might be down. We about to eat. So as a DB, you thinking if they down like that, our D line leads the league in sacks. I'm about to jump some stuff. So if the offensive line can hold up, double moves definitely will be there this game.
We got more of Bernie in a sec. Mike, let's go to you for a second here.
Yeah, I got to get one last reading before we end the show, and our last for the day is courtesy of Jace Medical. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jace Medical offers the Jace Case. The Jace Case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use, giving you peace of mind so that you're not just hoping you have access to medication in an emergency. Jace Medical makes sure you have the proper medication in hand, and it's simple. They handle everything from the online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care so you don't get caught unprepared. You get $20 off these life-saving antibiotics today from Jace Medical by using promo code LOCKDOWN at checkout at jacemedical.com. That's promo code LOCKDOWN at checkout at jasemedical.com.
Bernie, completely off topic here. Do you watch any other sports besides football on any kind of regular basis?
Probably.
What's your favorite?
So I'm a big fan of competition and stuff. So. It'd probably be off the top of my head to narrow any one down. Probably wouldn't be fair because I like so many different sports and competitions. And as Mike was reading that kind of segment, I was kind of zoning out into, if you ask a sport, I saw good Dr. Innocent Njoku sitting in this seat the other day here with Njoku Strong and stuff. Yeah. And I actually want to check out some of those bodysuits and stuff.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I have. I turned them on to that. I turned them on to that during COVID and stuff.
You didn't even know. He put them on.
David Njoku, man, that guy is in great shape.
Yeah, that's part of.
God.
I know why.
We all started that stuff pre-COVID, right at COVID, with those bodysuits. That's part of my recovery and stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bernie, Myles Garrett, he's always been great, but I always felt like there was, that there's a difference even between Hall of Famers and then the top Hall of Famers, and I always felt like as great as Myles Garrett's been, that there was still that one little level that most players can't ever get to that he could and he hadn't. and I feel like he's gotten that this year. Is that crazy? Or is that true?
I feel like I'm too amenable today. Absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, like, it's what he's doing. We talked about after the Colts game, and like that wasn't special enough. That's almost cartoon character-ish type things, Disney type stuff, where you say, "Oh, that's not realistic. That's made up and stuff." Again, it's not. I keep saying about myself and athleticism. In my little boy dreams, you don't even dream of making plays like that. And he makes them now start looking so matter of fact. Like last week, just whipping around the edge and grabbing the ball, and recovering a fumble. I mean, it's like it's almost forget each game he's making special plays. It's almost like every quarter.
Yeah.
As a quarterback going against a guy like that.
Oh God, yeah. I think of Lawrence Taylor. I mean,
how was that?
Yeah. So, you spent your whole week understanding he's special. So like that's where like we talk about chipping, check throughs, really jamming him. Like thinking Nick Harris would have a personal date with him from the fullback position. He would again, it sounds bad on here with the family show, but like he would level his ribs all day. I mean, that you have to do that. I mean, that the way he turns the edge like that, you never can let him have one-on-one like that. So like it's amazing to me that teams, here we are, week 8 and 9, they're still allowing him this one-on-one coverage, but I just guarantee you on a Thursday right now that there would be nobody in the Cleveland Browns organization that would not know they are multiply chipping the heck out of Lawrence Taylor, Myles Garrett type guys.
At least Myles, like off the field, seems mild-mannered, nice guy. Like Lawrence Taylor, he's scary. He's still scary now.
Yeah, thank God LT went off the field too to slow him down a little bit on the field. Myles is like impeccable off the field.
Here, the crazy thing is, think about what was not outlawed back there. So,
oh my God!
So head slap they was allowing. They allowed guys to hit quarterbacks below the waist.
Oh my God!
Horse collar was still legal.
That's how he messed up.
You can lean. You can take a quarterback down and put all your weight on him. Everything was legal.
You could do anything.
Yeah,
really.
so I was with Harry Carson last week. So think of that. Yeah. Lawrence Taylor, Harry Carson, Carl Banks, and Leonard Marshall. Okay, no wonder I got so much TBI. I could count the lights of the Meadowlands from being on my backside there. And then even to that, because to how cheap you were allowed to be back then. And unfortunately, I say those Giants guys, they actually weren't cheap and stuff, but there were teams back then, the old Buddy Ryan, 46 defense, the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I had...
Even the Redskins were good defense.
I could remember being on the bottom of a pile, 1989, playing the first NFL game in London in Wembley Stadium, Browns, Philadelphia Eagles. On the bottom of a pile, Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Andre Waters. Okay, I mean they were pretty dirty back then, and there was a massive fight. And some of the language is inappropriate for right here. But we're talking about how they killed me. They killed me.
They like punching you in the pile?
Punching me. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna kill you. I go, I'm still alive. And I say this. I want to say this as a joke, but each one of them's dead now. And Andre and how for people that follow the head stuff, Andre had some issues when he was playing in terms of cheap and some hits and stuff, but a lot of it cognitively was, and some of the stuff that happened to him at the end, and to literally be on the field at the bottom of a pile joking about that, and the guys not be with us is kind of eerie.
You know what's so crazy is the fact that you guys played on that old AstroTurf.
It was concrete.
That's concrete up underneath there. It wasn't no field cushion, no nothing. It was. You went down. I was telling somebody I used to play at the old Akron Rubber Bowl, and you fall on the Rubber Bowl, and then you have a whole sleeve. You look up and you don't have any skin on your arm. You're like, yeah, I didn't know that people actually had that until I started playing football. I'm like,
you got to know how to fall properly.
Yeah, you got to fall properly. You can't just dive.
And how to dress up. That's why I ended up with my little spray relief.
Wear the little pads or the little tape on your bottom of your arm.
But I actually used to get staph infection. I mean, that's part of, like, again, I'm coming from Travis Mills and Chris Miller. I am not complaining for the plight that these guys go through. But part of why my arm is just this straight, 6 inches off, got that scrape on the AstroTurf at the Astrodome. And they used to have literally bull fights on Saturday night. I think I told the story on air. And there was bull on the field, so ended up with those scrapes, getting staph infection in my elbow.
They'd spray you down with that. They said that spray and it'll burn.
Sting,
Guys, we're almost out of time. Bernie, you feeling good about a win? It's going to be tough. What do you think?
This is a tough one for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough one for us.
It's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
All right, coming up in overtime today, DJ Hazmat is going to join us. He's going to unveil it. He actually did not do a song last week.
He did not.
We got
Which I
to figure
think was the first time
in years.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to ask
And
him.
I'm not sure if Bernie's ever heard a Has song. And
Have
Bernie's
you ever
gonna
heard
get a chance
DJ
to listen.
Hazmat?
You're asking the guy who did the last half hour with TBI.
Anyway, he does raps about every Browns game.
Oh, no, I
cool.
did. I have
Yeah,
seen it. It's good, yeah.
Bernie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And Bernie's sticking around for overtime.
You matter.
So he's gonna
Oh,
be
Bernie's
for
sticking
overtime.
around for overtime, so you get to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do overtime. We got overtime coming up as DJ Hazmat unveils his song for this week off the Browns' victory over the lowly Cardinals. Coming up tomorrow, we're on Channel 3. Remember, 12:30 to 1 o'clock after being on YouTube from 11 to 12:30. Mike, any final comment?
Yeah, we're bringing Coach Tyvis back, and me and Tyvis are going to shoot that right now. It's a big one. We'll see y'all then. And happy birthday to Director Steve's mom.
101.
101 years old.
Happy birthday.
That's
See
crazy.
you on over.